Fabulous fabric from the land of the five rivers.
Years ago, when we came to Los Angeles, I really believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
What's good? What's good? We back.
Yes, sir.
We are back. Another edition.
Oh, you didn't know?
50-50.
Welcome to the 50-50 Show with PharoahNFL and the Severe Raider, the realest show for Raider Nation.
The perpetuation of the greatness of the Raiders to take a professional football team and give it a distinct characteristic that's different from all others.
Make sure to clock in, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
Hey man, y'all know what time it is, man. Hey, it's the 50-50 show, man. Hey, the late night, man. It's late night edition, man. We appreciate everybody's patience as usual, man. We appreciate everybody coming through. And just like the intro reminded y'all to do, and make sure to clock in. We are going live on both our channels, so you want to make sure, hey man, the least you guys can do if you guys want to support us, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. It's your first time joining us, and hit that notification bell as well, man, so you'll be notified every time we go live, drop new content, all that good stuff, man. Hey, it's finally here, man. Like it's crazy how. We were just talking about how, man, it's gonna be pretty slow, and there's gonna be that time before training camp where there's gonna be nothing to talk about. But guess what? Training camp is here, man. It's official. Actually, the Raiders actually showed up, or the rookies showed up to their first day. They reported on July 21st which I believe was yesterday, right? They reported yesterday. So the rookies reported on the 21st. The vets are going to be reporting tomorrow. And I believe the first practice will be this Wednesday. So, hey, it's a lot to talk about, a lot to look forward to. Now, we're going to have some things to talk about, man. Now, we've always had something to talk about, but now we're actually going to get into the nitty-gritty. And we have a lot to look forward to with training camp pretty much here. But Severe, man, what's going on, man? How you been? How's everything going with you?
Oh man, I'm doing fantastic over here, man. You know, just grinding out, getting ready for this training camp. Looking forward to finally getting the answer to some of these questions that we've been pondering, basically since the draft, man. So I'm really excited, man. How about yourself, man? What's going on over there with you?
Man, hey, man, I'm trying to catch up to all this Raider news, man. Hey, man, I'm really I'm gearing up for, and hopefully it's gonna be an exciting season, man. But before we even get into starting the show, man, shout out to the night crew, everybody in the chat, man, the nation, man. We appreciate y'all pulling up. We see y'all in the chat. Tony Shefford, man, he first one in the building. He says it's the 50-50 show. Salute, man. Go Raiders, man. Appreciate you coming through. Hey, man, I got you. I got you. I got you, man. I appreciate you coming through and supporting the show. We got Drew Dizzo in the building, man. He says it's that time again. What's up, Pharaoh Severe? The best Raiders show ever, man. Ah, man, I appreciate that. Go Raiders, man. I got you, man. Man.
Gotta get
go
Raiders from a guy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, man. Hey, appreciate the support, man. That means a lot. This dude is in the building, man. Appreciate you coming through. But yeah, man, I know. Appreciate your patience. Appreciate you coming through. That name is crazy. Man.
Crazy.
But I could tell you're a Raider fan. I'll just say that. I could tell you're a Raider fan, man. So we appreciate you coming through and being patient with us. It's the late night crew, man. It's Monday night, man. So look, it's training camp is starting. You know what I mean? So we'll have something to talk about. It's gonna be a good show. We got a lot to talk about, man. So we appreciate you coming through. Huey P in the building, man. Appreciate you as usual showing up, man. Showing support, man. My guy, man. Mark in the building, man. Hey, appreciate you coming through, man. We see everybody. SoCal Sal in the building, man. Appreciate you coming through, man.
Building.
SoCal always coming through and showing love, man. I appreciate you, my guy. All right, and we gotta. Oh man, I already know. If it's Super Chat, I already know who coming through.
You already know who it is, man.
Hey, if y'all really want to know how to do it, man, this guy, he leads by example, man. That's all I'm going to say. He leads by example. My guy, Raider Smoke. I appreciate the Super Chat. He says, let's go. Raider hat is back. Severe is locked in. Hey, man. Hey, look, man. Look, Severe got me. He put me on, man. He put me on. I'm with him today, man. So, look, man,
it's time it is, man.
Yeah, man. But we're gonna be focused. We're gonna be talking about the team today. As usual, we're gonna get into training camp. We're gonna get into the other Davante continues his media tour, man. Like he's going around, and he stopped by the other day with Shannon Sharp. So we'll get into that in a little bit. Some flags on the play as usual. You know, we got some issues every week. We gonna have a problem with somebody. But this week it's gonna be we're gonna have some stuff to talk about. Especially them SoCal teams, you know, them the LA teams. I ain't gonna say no name Chargers, you know, Rams, you know what I mean? They looking a little insecure out there, but we'll get into that, man. But Raider Smoke as usual, man. We appreciate the super chat. Man, everybody's coming through and show love, man. Hey, yeah, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to clock in, man. So clock in, it means hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. If you got to watch the replay, clock out and do the same, man. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. But
man, I see a lot of new faces too, man. If y'all haven't subscribed yet to me or Pharaoh, make sure y'all head over and do that, man. So y'all stay up to date. You know, now is it's go time, man. You know, this is not a test. You know, it's a real deal Holyfield from here on out. So y'all want to make sure y'all are right here, because we're gonna be providing y'all with some of that great content. You know, started training camp all the way throughout the rest of the year.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate everybody coming through. Man, let's just get into it, man. Hey, look, training camp is I guess, semi underway because, the vets are going to be reporting tomorrow. I just said earlier that there were the rookies reported yesterday, Sunday, and I believe the first practice will be this Wednesday. But now we're headed into so this training camp is here. So now we can actually talk about like the biggest things that we feel like we're going to be looking forward to and paying attention to. And I think the biggest one is the quarterback position. Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew, that's going to be an ongoing battle. Obviously, we're going to be paying attention to everything that's going to be coming out of training camp, out of Costa Mesa, and seeing what's going on with that battle. But then it doesn't just stop there. That's not the only battle that's happening on the team. You got the quarterback battle, you got the cornerback battle, you got we talked about that third receiver spot, fourth receiver spot. You know what I mean? Who's going to make that team? That depth chart is not solidified. Outside of maybe obviously Davante, Jacoby Myers, and Trey Tucker, based off, the reports we've heard all offseason from, the head man himself, the head coach himself, Antonio Pierce talking about how Trey Tucker has been really impressive. So you got to feel like he's probably going to have that third receiver spot down. So it's going to be after him, who's going to be that fourth receiver. Then you got that running back, that third down role. Who's going to take that role? And every year there's always going to be surprise cuts.
Yeah.
Where is it going to happen? You know what I mean? So there's a lot to talk about. But Severe, man, what are you looking forward to? What are like things that kind of come to mind? I know the quarterback. We're going to get into the quarterback position. We know that everybody's going to be looking forward to it. But outside of the quarterback battle, what are you going to be looking forward to as far as going into training camp? Because it's here now. Like now we get to talk about something that's we're going to get some updates. We're going to hear some news coming out of camp. So what are you looking forward to in training camp?
Man, obviously quarterback, as you kind of already alluded to. I think that's kind of what's going to separate us, and kind of pretty much determine what kind of team we are, right? The play of the quarterback. But everybody knows that, right? That's an obvious one. The battles, I'm really interested to see. What I think is going to be very, very intriguing is the battle of the young defensive tackles, right? We got Byron Young, we got Nesta Jade, we got Matthew Butler.
Yeah.
All those guys, those guys may be battling for one spot potentially.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting, especially, since we got Christian Wilkins here, we know he's here. John Jenkins isn't going anywhere. I think Adam Butler probably has a spot locked up, and the Tyree Wilson is going to be fluctuating from inside to outside. So, we may only carry one more defensive tackle on the roster, and we spend a lot of draft capital on Byron Young. We invested a draft pick in Nesta Jade as well, and the year prior to that, we spent a draft pick on Matthew Butler. So I'm really going to be interested to see which one of those guys kind of separates themselves and earns that like fourth defensive tackle spot, assuming that we only carry four, which is a guess. I think we'll only carry four.
Just based off how this offense is going to be run, it's going to be different from years past. And based off like the players that we have, because we have like two talented tight ends, and we're probably not going to have like run four wide receiver sets like we would have done in like maybe previous years. So yeah, I could see that happening, but I want to see who starts on that other side of that cornerback spot. Like I'm kind of interested to see, does Jacorian Bennett like learn or grow from his rookie year, where he had, he went through that. He had some growing pains. You've seen the talent. Obviously, the Raiders believed in talent because going into the season, he was a starter, but then he had some mental errors. Is he going to grow from that? Is he going to learn from that? Because this is going to be a big year, because the defense is really going to be the part of the team where, they're going to be carrying this team. They're going to be leading the way, in my opinion, just based off just experience. I mean, this is their third year in the same system. So we kind of feel, I think we can all say that we're pretty confident in this defense based off the talent level, based off Max Crosby leading the way, that D-line leading the way, and the way they finished the season last season. I feel like we can all say, everybody in Raider Nation can say, like, we're pretty confident about that defense. Offensively, it's kind of like, what are we going to get? We have the pieces in certain areas, but the most important one is kind of like, all right, realistically speaking, that quarterback position, we can't expect that position to, we can't expect Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew to be Kenny Stabler or Rich Gannon or Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, like, you know what I mean, all Pro Bowl. I don't think that we should go with that expectation. But if they can just, limit the mistakes, take care of the football, make the right plays, and let the playmakers make the plays. Like, you got guys like Davante Adams, Jacoby Myers, and the tight ends that can make plays. Just keep it simple, you know what I mean? But I think, to me, and I said this in the past, and I dropped a short the other day and from a previous show, I keep saying it, to me, the biggest X factor and one of the most exciting players to watch out for is Zamir White. I think he's going to have he needs to have that huge impact on this offense. Is he going to be as good as Josh Jacobs? Probably not. But can he just be effective? Because I think the impact of him being in that offense, being effective, running the football, is going to have an impact on how the Raiders kind of attack defenses, and it puts less pressure on the quarterback to make plays. Third down in 7 or 8 is if third down in 1 sounds a lot better than third down in 7 8. You know what I mean? Like, especially for guys like Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew, where at the end of the day, like, we can't expect them to carry the team. That's not how the team is built. The team is built for this defense, and if we can run the football, I feel like it's gonna be complimentary football if we were able to run that. Think about why Luke Getsy's here. Let's be honest. Why is Luke Getsy? I know he has a relationship with Davante Adams. Everybody talks about that. But let's talk about his time as an offensive coordinator. He was able to be number 1, number 2 on as far as running the football in the NFL last few years with the Chicago Bears. Hopefully that translates with the Raiders. And I think Antonio Pierce probably remembered the last time the Raiders played the Chicago Bears, and they ran the football all over the Raiders. He
definitely mentioned that.
Yeah, with an undrafted free agent. Justin Fields didn't play that game because a lot of people like to point like, oh, well, a lot of that was because he had Justin Fields running football, which may be true, but he did it with undrafted free agent and was able to run the football. Like, how is that possible? So he was able to scheme up.
With Deontay Foreman, who was, basically a journeyman running back. So,
yeah, no, facts. So, yeah, man, it's a lot to look forward to. Did you name your biggest X factor? For me, Zamir White. That's kind of be like the guy that I'm paying attention to on offense. If I was going to give someone on defense, a guy that I would be paying, I'm really going to be interested in watching is Tyree Wilson. I want to see how he, he's kind of like, I don't want to say he's the odd man out, but like, or the forgotten man, but I feel like, with the emergence of Kuntz, obviously Max Crosby being Max Crosby, and then our big acquisition of Christian Wilkins, Tyree Wilson he doesn't have all that pressure on him. Like, everybody's kind of not talking about him. I think it's a good spot for him, but I want to see if he takes that next step. That's a guy, like, I want to see how he kind of performs during training camp, and hopefully he gets some run in preseason. We're able to see him dominate and get to the quarterback and see some improvement and maybe see how the Raiders possibly use him. They're probably not going to show too much. I mean, it's preseason. They're going to keep it vanilla, but I just want to see a guy that looks a lot more confident out there. It seemed like he's confident just hearing him talk this offseason. So I think Tyree Wilson for me and Zamir White. For you, how about offense, defense? Who are guys that you're looking at?
So, I mean, I agree. First of all, I want to say I agree 100% with your point about Zamir White. I think he's going to be big for us. And when you say he's not going to be as good as Josh Jacobs, it depends on what's Josh Jacobs you're talking about, right? Like, is it going to be league-leading rusher, Josh Jacobs? Is it going to be that year, what was that, year 4, Josh Jacobs? I don't think he's going to be that guy. But can he be, some facsimile of the guy we got those other 4 years he was with us, especially last year, right? I think he'll be better than what Josh did last year. If he can be just an above average back, we're going to be a run first team. All the coaches have talked about it. So I think that he is going to be very important. And with that being said, while I would love to say that Michael Mayer is going to be the X factor because I think he's going to have a big year, or Trey Tucker is going to be an X factor because I think he's going to have a potentially, a breakout year. my X factor is a little bit boring. I'm going Thayer Munford.
Mm,
I am going Thayer Munford. I
okay.
think that the right side of the line has been somewhere we have struggled with. We've tried several different solutions. We drafted Alex Leatherwood. We tried Thayer for a while. We tried Jermaine Luminor. We wanted Brandon Parker to be the guy, and looks like we have circled back to Thayer Munford. We had an opportunity to draft, a right tackle, and we elected not to. And my hope is that some of that, had to do with we have enough confidence in Thayer to be able to do the job that we were able to pass on some of those right tackle prospects. So and as they say, the chain is only as strong as its weakest link. So I think Colton Miller, I think he is a top 8 to 12 left tackle. I think Jackson Powers Johnson, if healthy, is going to be a very, very good guard. I think Andre James is going to be serviceable at center. I think he may be more than serviceable at center in a zone blocking scheme, and he's getting some of the responsibilities of calling out the protections back, which is something that he lost under Josh McDaniels because the quarterback does all that in that system. I think Dylan Parham being back on the right side that's his more of his natural position. He was much better as a right guard than he was at left guard. So I think all other spots on the line are pretty solidified. That right tackle spot is the only question mark. And if we can get good play out of that right tackle, I think that benefits us hugely, not only in the run game, but if we have a guy like Aiden O'Connell at quarterback, who we all know is not mobile at all. I think he rushed for negative yards in college. I think he rushed for negative yards last year as well in the NFL. So he's not a guy that's really going to move around or be a threat with his legs. So that puts even more importance on a guy like Thayer to hold down the right side of that line. And then on defense, I think Tyree's a good choice. I could go Jacorian, but the guy I'm going with is a guy who I think was extremely important to our defense last year, and that is Epps. I'm going with Epps again. I think he's a guy that he was kind of the standard bearer for us on defense. Smart guy. Generally your safeties are one of the leaders on your defense. They can see everything. I think he had a great impact on Trevon Merrick. But not only that, but his play in the field backed it up, right? He was very solid. He's a guy. We remember from the Receivers documentary, he's the guy that knocked out Justin Jefferson in that game. So, he brought physicality, he brought intelligence, and he brought leadership. And I think that, we have some young corners on this team. So I think his presence is going to be very important to the development of those guys, right? To the continued development of Trevon Merrick, to the development of DeCamerion Richardson, of Jacorian Bennett, of MJ Devonshire, of all these guys. So I think that he's going to play a vital role. And I think that we see, Rob Ryan couldn't stop talking about the guy. And he's a guy who is a great defensive mind, has been around some very good defenses, comes from a defensive family. So the fact that he kept singing this guy's praises lets me know that, maybe what he does doesn't necessarily show up on a stat sheet or on the highlight reel, but it has a tremendous impact on this defense.
Yeah. No, I remember Rob Ryan talking about Marcus Epps and how the impact, and he kind of pointed out the Eagles defense not playing as well as he did without him, and it was because Marcus Epps was not the impact of not having a guy like out there that's a big communicator. And I think he impacted a guy like, Morik, you know what I mean? He kind of took him under his wing. They had good chemistry back there. And that's another guy to keep an eye on, Morik, you know what I mean? Yeah. Third year it's second year. Is this second year? I think it's third year in the defense. I believe third year in the defense. And I think he's going into his fourth year, I believe. I think he's going into his fourth year. This might be his contract year. It might be his last year before he hits free agency. So
contract year.
That's a guy that I want to keep an eye on too, as well. Like, that there's a lot of players. You know what I mean? We're just picking one. Real Talk Raider Nation points out Trey Tucker. We got some other people talking about Tyree. Also, people are talking about a lot of different players. Obviously, the quarterback position, we kind of stayed away from. It's a given. Everybody's gonna be paying attention to the quarterback position. We know it's just that position. It's everybody's gonna be paying attention to it. But we're just looking at, we're just trying to see other players on the team because there's other battles that's happening. And you know what? To be honest with you, I want to see that cornerback room, the starting corners. I know I talked about the other side, who's gonna start, but I also want to see on the other side, can he continue? Jack Jones, can he continue what he did last year to finish out the season with Antonio Pierce? Yeah. You know what I mean? Can he solidify his spot? Can he become that number one guy, or is he a number two guy? Yeah. Now he's gonna have a full season ahead of him, and we're gonna see all right, we definitely, I feel like we're gonna have to add to that cornerback spot just because based off the contracts and cornerbacks, they just make a whole lot of money. There's going to be an odd man out. I know we have some guy, and hopefully we'll figure that out. But is Jack Jones, is he going to be the future starter from years to come? Because, his contract is going to be coming up, where is he going to get extended? I think he's under contract. He's under his rookie deal, right? I think they picked him up on waivers. So he's still on his rookie contract. Yeah. So the Raiders are going to have him on a discount, and hopefully they can have that benefit them if he's playing well. So I want to see Jack Jones. Does he continue to be that number one corner for the Raiders? Because by default, he is the number one corner on the team, by default. Yeah. But is he the number one corner? Will he, week in, week out, 16 game season, 17 game, and hey, it's going to be an 18 game any day now, the way it's looking like. And how do you feel about that, man? Do you want less preseason games and more regular season games? I kind of liked it at 16. I don't know, just because I don't know, man. It just feels kind of weird. I feel like, players are more at risk to get hurt, and, it's I don't know, man.
I think if they go 18 games, they got to expand rosters. They can't have 53. They got to go up to 60, 62, something like that. You got to expand rosters just because those extra games, that's a lot of wear and tear on these guys over 18 game season. You may have to go to maybe possibly 2 bye weeks, something like that, just because that's a lot of games to be playing consecutively for these guys. So, but the players they gave that up in the collective bargaining agreement negotiation. So essentially, they're at the mercy of the NFL, and the NFL can change the rules at any time they want. They generate much, and having that extra game, that's a bargaining chip when they go to the table with these networks and these streaming providers to get more money out of them because they get more games. So I'm sure they are going to want to have more regular season games than the preseason games. And a lot of times, I don't know how it is now. I haven't been to a preseason game in a long time, but some of these preseason games, the tickets still be expensive. So if I'm have a choice between a regular season game and a preseason game, I'm just gonna go to a regular season game. So I think the NFL is thinking the same way. So, but if they do that, like I said, man, they have to do something to protect safety because protect the safety of the players. Because, like I said, either extended rosters or extra bye weeks or something like that.
Yeah. But going back to training camp, right? So it's just not the camp battles that we're gonna be looking at too. It's also and I kind of mentioned it a little bit. Lou Getsy and his offense. I want to see what that looks like. What is his plan for all these weapons, pieces that we have on offense? How is he going to utilize guys like Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers? I got a Brock Bowers where he's a guy he's a weapon. You can use him in a lot of different ways, but it takes a lot of a creative mind to be able to utilize that type of skill set. A skill set that we've seen guys like Kyle Shanahan be able to utilize on certain players. Creative offensive coordinators know how to use certain players. Is Lou Getsy a guy that is able to unlock Brock Bowers? You know what I mean? I want to see what that looks like on offense. Are we going to be running 12 personnel every play? What is it going to look like on offense? We have an idea a little bit. We have a little bit of an idea, but how does it really look like? And we might see that a little bit maybe during preseason, not fully. We won't really know until the season starts, but I think just because you know how it is. You know, teams are pretty competitive, and they're not gonna run what they really are gonna run in preseason. They're gonna keep it really simple. And then special teams, too.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We seen the special teams coordinator for the Raiders, like literally. I'm talking about like he removed himself from the podium to break down how it's gonna look like. This you could tell how he was so passionate about what he was talking about and how excited he was, and he's excited because of the new change, the NFL change. How is that gonna look like? Is it gonna be like kickoff returns left and right? That's something to take a look at. And also, obviously, with the rule change, the tackle, hip drop tackle, how is that going to affect the game and how players are going to adjust to that? So that's going to be interesting to see as well. So, man, there's a lot to look forward to with training camp going underway and obviously preseason. But we got another super chat. My guy, Raider Smoke, man. This is hey, man, he keeps leading by example, man. I love it, man.
Raider
I appreciate the
man.
super chat. My guy, Raider Smoke, says, don't know if you guys will talk about it, but did you see what Colin Cowherd said about the Raiders? Flag, oh, man, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah. I seen it briefly, like
you sent it to me
the other day. Did I send it to you? Did I
you
send it to you?
to me, yeah. You sent it to me.
Man, hey, definitely a flag on a play. It's not going to be the flag on play that we're going to talk about, but man, that's a huge flag. We might have to say that for next week, or we'll get into it. We'll see it. But Colin Cowherd the other day was straight hating on the Raiders. Hating on the Raiders. But you know what it is, man. On one like it seems like yesterday Colin Cowherd was like, "Oh, I like what the Raiders are building," and yada da 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 da. And he'll just hop on the bandwagon, just give it a few games. Raiders are gonna go on a win streak. Colin Cowherd's gonna like, "Oh, I like what the Raiders are building." There, you know what it is, man. Colin Cowherd, who is he? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like it's just his opinion. But yeah, definitely flag on a play with Colin Cowherd. I don't have it in front of me, but yeah, he went on a rant. Just to keep it simple, he went on a little rant about the Raiders and how they're not. To some extent, he didn't say anything that wasn't true, low key. You know what I mean? There has been dysfunction with the Raiders, but he just went in like oh, they're a terrible franchise. Just the timing of it was just. Like, what are you talking about? Like, yes. But like I said, who is Colin Cowherd? He's just a guy with an opinion, and it's gonna change by tomorrow. You know what I mean? It's gonna change by week 2. He's gonna be talking about the Raiders are one of the teams to look out for. I bet you that's what he's gonna say. So, but yeah, Smoke, man, that's a good one, man. I gotta hey, if you guys, just a public service announcement. If you guys see anything out there, clips, whatever's going on around. Let us know, man. Hit us up on IG or on Twitter. If there's anything that you guys find or see or future flag on a play, and we'll shout you out for sending it in too. So you can either send it to Severe, the Severe Raider, or myself, PharoahNFL, all over social media. Just IG, Twitter, and if you guys find anything, we'll definitely try to consider it and put it in to the show. Definitely a flag on a play, man. I can't believe I forgot to put that on here, but.
Man, I was trying to find it. I was trying to see if I could find it. I can't find it. You sent it to me. I can't find it, though.
Yeah, definitely a flag on a play, man. Appreciate the super chat, Smoke, man. Leading my example, man. He knows how to do it, man. Appreciate the support.
For sure you're right. For sure you're right.
So yeah, like I said, man, there's a lot to look forward to. There's so many different things that we can talk about, camp battles, and obviously the rule changes and seeing how that looks like on the football field. But We'll get into all that, but let's get into it, man. I guess that's a perfect segue to flag on the play.
Personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving them the business.
All right, man. This week on flag on play, man. So we got a couple this week, man. And definitely Colin Cowherd was a definitely flag on play. I'm just gonna let y'all know. If we find a clip, we'll play it on later on the show, or at some point. We'll figure it out. But that being said, over the weekend, we kind of found out why Raider Nation, everybody that's in Southern California, everybody in Raider Nation who had any plans to be like, oh man, like I want to go to Costa Mesa and watch the Raiders practice in training camp, but then found out that it wasn't possible. Well, we kind of found out. So there was a report, and I think Pro Football Talk was one of the first media outlets to report on it, but everybody was talking about it. So pretty much local teams in the area have, like, I believe there's a 75-mile radius where they have a right to when it comes to anything to do with their team, promoting the team, whatnot. But it's optional. They don't have to do it. So the LA Chargers and the LA Rams, very insecure teams, they understand that Raider Nation is they're running the show down in Southern California, man. It's they know the Raider Nation is worldwide, but especially in Southern California, where obviously they have heavy roots, being there out there in in LA back in the day, and now them going to Costa Mesa, they pretty much was like, hey, look, you guys can't have any type. You guys can't promote anything. You guys can't have fans come to the practices. Even the media's the only media that can be out there in training camp is Las Vegas media. So no other media can be there outside of Las Vegas media, and the only people that can show up to training camp are literally like VIPs and certain season ticket sponsors, season ticket holders, and things of that nature. So we found out that it was the Chargers, the stinking Chargers, and the Rams, that were blocking it. And you could tell they're probably butthurt that the Raiders were coming to Costa Mesa, or whatever. It is what it is. But that kind of it puts everything in perspective. Definitely a huge flag on a play. And it puts everything in perspective, because now I thought about this early in the offseason. I'm like, man, why didn't they? I'm over here in Northern California. Why didn't they go to Napa? You know what I mean? Like, why didn't they go down to Napa? Easier drive for me, and I know it's an easier drive for you out in SoCal. But the 49ers could do the same thing to the Raiders too, because it's that 75-mile radius that they have in control. Every team has a 75-mile radius of their area that they're in control of, and they can easily block any team from doing any type of, And what's interesting too is that there's 5 other teams that have training camps in the same area, and I believe it's the Raiders, the Cowboys. Are the Saints having training camp? I gotta look this up. I'm trying to think of it top of my head about. There's about at least 5 teams have training camp in the same area, and I'm not sure if they've enforced those rules on those other teams. The Cowboys, they said that they were grandfathered in because they were having training camps theirs before the rules were enforced. But
they've been doing Oxnard for years. They've been doing Oxnard for years. So they've been doing Oxnard, I want to say, man, even before the Rams moved back, and before the Chargers moved to LA too. So they've been doing Oxnard for years. So they had no say over what the Cowboys do, and that's honestly, that's probably like one of the biggest fan bases in California is the Cowboys, unfortunately. But yeah, man, it's just hate, man. Like they know that the Raiders run LA, and that they are essentially just tenants in our house, right? They have their stadium here. They play their home games here, quote unquote, but they already know that this is Raider territory. And despite the struggles that the Raiders have had for all these years, they still have yet to be able to take control over this territory. And you know what? They've moved here, and now the Raiders look like they're rebounding. So we're still going to have a stranglehold on the LA fan base. Nothing's going to change. The Rams have been to a Super Bowl. They won a Super Bowl, and they are still second-class citizens in their own city, man. And and so they already know what time it is, man. They already know what time it is. And what's crazy is that the Rams were in LA before the Raiders were, and the Raiders just came through and snatched LA. And then the Rams left and came back, and the Raiders still reign supreme out here, man. And the Chargers have been irrelevant. They're going to remain irrelevant. They can hire Harbaugh. They can have Justin Herbert. They're still going to be an irrelevant team. They are the Clippers of the NFL. No, nobody cares. They've never won anything. They're not going to win anything, and even if they do win, nobody's going to really care. So, but it's just hate, man. That they know the power that we have, and they know that us being here, we'll make a big impact. So they do what they got to do, but it's all right. It's all right. We'll see the Chargers for sure week 1. So we can go ahead and handle that then.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think, where would the Raiders go? Someone.
So I will say this though, that I blame Telesco for this, bro. I blame Telesco for this because it was his idea. This was essentially his idea. He going back to where the Chargers held their training camp before, and I understand why they did it, because he probably has familiarity with the facility and with the local politicians there. So it was probably kind of easy road to get it approved instead of trying to find a new location. And I know that they kind of wanted to get the players away from Vegas, so they aren't going home every day. Like, they're kind of forced to spend time with each other and bond. But bro, don't be taking your new piece to the same spots you be taking your old piece. Like, that's a violation, bro. That is a violation.
You know what? Hey, look. So Real Talk says dumb move by Mark Davis, should have gone somewhere where the Raider fan base could show out. The players need to see how deep Raider fan base it. Yeah. But I think I was looking into this, and this idea of going to Costa Mesa, it came from Antonio Pierce. He wanted that ability to pretty much, to bond with the team and go somewhere where, look, the last few years since they moved to Las Vegas, they've been practicing at the facility. Obviously, state-of-the-art facilities. They have a lot of things. Some of the things they don't have, but they pretty much have one of the best facilities in the NFL. But at the end of the day, after practice, they just go home, go to separate ways. But when you're like in Napa or Costa Mesa or wherever, you go back to your rooms. You're over there. You're with your brothers. You're with your teammates. You kind of, and I think Antonio Pierce he's trying to build something here, and I kind of like what he did. And if it's true that he was kind of the guy leading the way as far as having the Raiders go somewhere for a training camp, then shouts out to Antonio Pierce. But someone in it, like, hey, Alec, let me see if it's getting blocked real quick. Alex says, is San Diego State available? You know what? San Diego. Is it 75 miles? Would that be outside the 75-mile radius?
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, so
it's very close. It should be.
If the Raiders wanted to go somewhere, and I think Raider fans would show out in San Diego. We know that's another home for the Raiders. At the end of the day, I think Raiders were looking into moving down that way. So that can be a possibility, but it doesn't even have to be California. It could be anywhere on the West Coast. It could be anywhere where they feel like they can get everything that they need and also bring out Raider Nation. But yeah, man, maybe that's something that the Raiders have to consider in the future. But for right now, it's going to be in Costa Mesa for 1 year. I think it's a 1-year deal. It's actually where the Chargers actually have their training camps, but since they finish building their facilities this year, they're practicing in their own facilities. So they were able to the Raiders were able to capitalize and get that training camp out there.
And the Chargers still have the rights to it, so that's why the Raiders, they have a 1-year agreement in place, but they can't have a longer agreement because the Chargers still have agreements in place for this year and next year. So they can, if they want to block us completely from going to Costa Mesa next year, they can, because like I said, they have the rights and they have that agreement in place. They took a hiatus this year because, as you said, they just opened a new training facility in El Segundo, which is not far from where I live, unfortunately. So they're going to practice there this year, but that they have the right to go back to Costa Mesa next year if they so choose.
Yep. Hey, man, shouts out to the king of mods, Daniel Kim.
Yes.
Appreciate the super chat. He says, I haven't been this excited for a season in a long while. We need to bring the juice every practice and come out the gates and either go 2-0 or 1-1, man. We going 2-0, man. Let's shoot for the moon, man, or shoot for the stars, land on the moon, man. So yeah, 2-0, 2-0. I mean, it's gonna be tough because out the gate we got Jim Harbaugh. We know, what type of teams he puts out there on the football field. Let's be honest. It's gonna be a physical football team that the Chargers. Well, it's gonna be a different Chargers team we haven't seen in the past. It's not gonna be that finesse. They're gonna be a physical football team out there with Jim out there coaching the team. We'll see how it looks like year one for him. First game of the season, anything can happen, anything goes. But after that, I think it's the Ravens. We have to go to the other side. That's gonna be tough. Because we know how the Raiders kind of struggle on the East Coast too. When that time change, second game, it's going to be an emotional first game, and then you got division rival, and then you got to go to play the Ravens, a Super Bowl contender. Lamar Jackson's a monster. That's going to be tough, but hey, man, I think the first 4 games is going to say a lot about the Raiders, man. It's how they respond. It's gonna be some tough games in there. But we'll see how it shakes out, man. I'm with you, Daniel Kim, man. Hopefully, Sevilla, I don't know if it's official. Are you going to be out in the first game? Are you thinking about going to the first game of the season?
I'm going to be there.
We'll be able to see RaiderNation the first game of the season. Trying to make
I'm
it
going to be there. I'm definitely going to be there.
Going to
be there.
There you go, man. Daniel Kim, I know you.
My home, man. So you know what time it is.
Man, got to show out, man. First game of the season. Daniel Kim, I know you talked about going to the first game of the season. Hopefully we get to see you out there, man. But I appreciate the super chat. But yeah, man, that's a flag, man. That's a flag, man. These teams over here, NFL stay hating, especially these teams, man. They're insecure, man, because we got all the fans. Because the Chargers don't have no fans. Rams, like you said, are like third-class citizens. You know what I mean? They're not even second class. Because I remember when they had their Super Bowl parade. Did anybody show up? Remember we were laughing about? I don't know if I was laughing with you or was it Ray? It was.
I don't even remember when it was, bro. To be honest with you, I don't think nobody showed up. To be honest with you,
man. When the Rams won the Super Bowl, did anybody in the chat? Let me know in the chat, man. Do y'all remember when the Rams had their parade and no one showed? It just felt like it was empty. Like it was crazy, man. But obviously we know what the Raiders Super Bowl parade would look like, man. It would be mayhem everywhere. The streets was shut down. The whole city was shut down, man. Oh, man, it would be crazy. But they ain't got it like that. It is what it is, man. They ain't got it like that, man. But that is a flag on the play. And the next one is, were you able to look at the full list, by the way, before I bring this one up?
I wasn't able to look at the full list. Not the full. They broke it down by position. They broke it down differently. Than from how this list is ranked to be. So,
yeah. Nah. It's all good. So this flag on the play is it's the first one kind of shocked me though. I'm not gonna lie, and it's this usually happens. We all know what it is, but PFF the other day came out with their list of top receivers in the game. And Davante Adams was nowhere to be found in the top 8. I think he finished like number 9 or number 10th. Let me pull up this. So this is a big flag to me, in my opinion. I think that Davante is definitely in the top 5. I think he's still a top 5 receiver. But this happens all the time. When players start getting up there in age, some of these media outlets, they try to predict the downfall of the player. Like, oh, yeah, as he's getting up there in the age and, he's going to fall off. But I think Davante has a type of game where it will stand a little bit test of time just because he's a skillful player. He's just not an athlete out there. He's definitely athletic, but he's a skillful player. He's one of the best route runners in the NFL. That is a skill, and I think that his game – I think it would age well, but they're saying that he's going to have a big drop off. He's not a top 5 receiver. I think that's a big flag on the play, man. And I'm going to pull up the list here in just a second so y'all see what they think the top. Let's see. Let me pull up the top receivers in the game right here. All right, top 8. Man, they didn't even show. Whew, this is terrible. Let's see if I could pull this up. And y'all can see this. Let's see.
Yeah.
All right, so let me move this flag on a play. So you can see top 8 receivers in the NFL. Where's Davante Adams?
That's wild, man.
Come on, Debo. Come on, man. Debo Samuel ain't better than no Davante Adams. Come on now. Brandon Ayuk, hell
Brandon
nah.
Ayuk too.
He's a good receiver. He's a very good receiver, but he's not a great receiver. And I think Davante, he's at that greatness level, in my opinion. And I think the quarterback play has kind of clouded some of these guys', whatever you want to call it, their judgment. But as you can see, PFF flag on the play, man. Davante Adams is not a top 8 receiver. Are you serious?
Crazy flag. CD Lamb being that high is crazy flag too, in my opinion.
Yeah. I like CD Lamb coming out, but I don't like him as much as I don't like him as Justin Jefferson. I think Jefferson. I can see why someone would be like Justin Jefferson's the best receiver in the game. I can see why. Yeah. Like the dude has been just a monster since he's coming out, and he's only getting better. Tyreek Hill, you see the numbers that he's putting up out there with Miami Dolphins, like he's dominating. So I get that. Like if Davante comes number 3, I understand. I'm not gonna get mad at it like that. You know, I'm gonna have my bias. I'm like, oh yeah, Davante. But at the end of the day, like these are guys that like they're putting on a show every Sunday. CeeDee Lamb, I think he played well last season. I think he played pretty well. I think he's one of the top receivers in the game, but. Jamar Chase. I like AJ
I got
Brown
Jamar
too.
Chase. I got Jamar Chase over CeeDee Lamb.
Come on, man. Amon Run. Come on, man. This dude.
I got Amon-Ra St. Brown over CeeDee Lamb too.
You got him over. You got him over CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, he's better than CeeDee Lamb. Yeah, for sure, better than CeeDee Lamb.
Man. I don't know. That's
for sure better than CeeDee Lamb.
Man, I don't know, man. I don't know about that, but I wouldn't have him over Davante. St. Brown over Davante.
Nah. I wouldn't have none of these. Only people for sure I have over Davante. I have Justin Jefferson. I probably have Reek. I maybe Jamar Chase is right there. When Jamar Chase is healthy, Jamar Chase is like right there. I can see that, but not CeeDee Lamb in my opinion. Not CeeDee Lamb in my opinion.
Yeah. So Smoke is saying that he sent you the coward clip on IG. So if you want to check your IG, Severe. Sure. And then just send it to me. Send it to like Twitter, and then I'll be able to. We'll have a bonus. Shout out to Raider Smoke. A bonus flag on the play.
Flag on the play.
But yeah, man, this is crazy, man. Let me know in the chat, man, how y'all feel about this, man. Davante, not even a top 8 receiver, and like, come on, man. Debo Samuel, who much respect to him. I think he's a weapon out there, but come on, outside a number 1 receiver. Come on now. Davante is definitely top 5 at least. Top 5. Because I know last season there was a little bit of drop off, but with the quarterback play, the offense was ugly. It was just you couldn't evaluate people on offense last year just based off so many different factors. The McDaniels effect, the offense being the way it was. Everybody just didn't know what was going on. Let's see here.
I just sent it to you. Right now.
All right, let me. I'll play that in a second. But yeah, man, let me know in the chat, man. Hey, do y'all agree with this list? Do you think Davante is PFF kind of predicting his downfall next season? And I don't want to be super negative, but like, hey, if y'all gotta let us know the truth, man. I don't see it. I don't see Davante Adams not being a top 8 receiver. Come on, man. That's crazy, and I said that he was probably number 9 or 10. I'm just assuming, I think, but I think they did this clickbait right here. This is a perfect example of like clickbait, in my opinion. I think it's just they're trying to grab people's attention and try to say like, you know what, this is gonna get people riled up.
It did, man. It got us riled up. It got us talking about it.
Yeah. Sent you. All right, Let's see. Hold up. Speed Pro says Adams should be 3. Not gonna lie. Yeah, facts.
Yeah, at the lowest it should be 3.
Yeah. Let's see. St. Brown. People agree with you. St. Brown is good.
St. Brown's a dog.
SoCal lowest should be 3.
I think him and CD were both first team All Pro last year, though. I want to say so. I mean, CD got down.
Yeah, he had a really good season last year. I think
Hit a big year.
But it's like, I think coming out the gate, but to be honest with you, if we want to keep it real, Davante coming out, he had a little bit of a learning curve. He didn't come out like swinging and dominating like, guys like Justin Jefferson. He had a little bit of a learning curve. I think by his third or fourth year, that's where he kind of seen like, oh, okay, Davante's that guy. And he's actually admitted to this. He talked about this in his interviews where he understood that like it took him a little bit, and that's why he has respects for some of these young receivers. But yeah, this is a big time flag on the play. Once I seen this, I was like, yeah, we gonna have to talk about this. This one's sick right here, man. Like they out here hating on Davante Adams, man. Come on now. Raider Smoke with another super chat, man. Appreciate the super chat. All right, so he says, Raider Smoke says Adams number 1, okay. Hill number 2, and Justin Jefferson number 3. All right, I ain't mad at that, man. I ain't mad at that list, man.
Can't get mad at that. Can't get mad at that.
Some people have a combination of that 3 in the top 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These are guys that are number ones. You can line them up anywhere on the outside, in the inside, and these guys will be dominating. And teams do that. I think if you look at how the Miami Dolphins use Tyreek, they use him everywhere. They move him around. They use him all different types of ways, and he's a monster out there. And same thing with Justin Jefferson. Same thing, Adams. Inside, outside, it doesn't matter. And I think to me, it's harder to play on the outside than the inside, to be honest with you.
For a receiver, yeah.
I mean, and some of these guys, like St. Brown, a lot of his production comes on the inside, in my opinion, compared to like guys like
he's all over. He's all over the place.
They move him around, but I feel like they move him. They use him a lot in the inside, man. So I don't know if I want to compare him to like guys like Davante, that top 3 that Smoke got him on there. But you're a big St. Brown fan.
I've been telling people about Amon-Ra St. Brown for like 3 years.
Do you have him top 5?
Yeah, Davante, Justin Jefferson, Tyreek, Jamar Chase. Yeah, I got him top 5. Yeah. I got him top 5. Yeah. I just think I think as the Lions start to, I mean, he already got first team All Pro. Like it's like what's crazy is that look like he got first team All Pro, and then he didn't get voted into the Pro Bowl. That's what's crazy. It's like I don't think people don't know how good he is yet. It's because he played for the Lions have been bad for so long. But Amon-Ra St. Brown is a dog, and he's tough too. Bro. He's not one of those he's kind of a diva, kind of a character, but dude he's tough as all get out.
Yeah. So, Smoke, man, appreciate the super chat. And we're actually going to be playing the bonus flag on the play. I forgot about this one, man. I forgot to include this, but I appreciate you sending it in. So we're going to go ahead and play the clip. Let's see right here. So this is Colin Cowherd hating on the Raiders, man. Flag on the play. Let's see.
3 great players. Josh Jacobs is now leaving, and he's going to the Green Bay Packers. And Josh Jacobs has made the rounds, the former Alabama star, and he'll be a big-time star in Green Bay, was lamenting on a podcast about being a Raider for a few years.
I remember coming to the league and losing my first game, and I was mad, not talking to nobody, and a vet come up to me and like, this the NFL, like, you gonna lose. I'm like, so y'all cool with losing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was so different. And then the most frustrating thing about it all, I feel like, especially when you got like me, you know, Tay and Max, and you got guys that come in every day and work hard, and you don't get the results. You be close, but every year you close, but it's not, it's not winning.
Yeah.
I've said this before. It always makes me happy when I see somebody that works really, really hard. I'll get called by people in my industry, or I see athletes get drafted by really stable organizations, because I've been very lucky in my career that I've worked overwhelmingly for really good companies, stable financially. I had 2 years in Tampa, and it was an absolute circus. I mean, I could go on for hours. Our general manager at the time once told people not to park in a certain parking lot, and 2 days later, he had his Porsche parked sideways, taking up 4 spots. It was a circus. Employees, bosses hitting on employees at Christmas parties, people getting fired left and right, a weatherman who dressed up a dog in dresses on the set. 5 o'clock news at one point was on a couch that I kept falling off of because it was too slippery. I wish I was making it up. It was a disaster. A lot of good employees, though, but you couldn't do your best work as an employee because management was a revolving door full of clowns. There's only so much you can do. People I work with was great. The reporters were great, and the anchors were great, and the producers were great, and the people at the desk were great. And that's the Raiders. And Josh Jacobs is telling you, this is what it's like to be in a dysfunctional organization. I mean, Green Bay is going to be Disneyland. Lush gardens, functional, smiling employees. The Raiders are that carnival that shows up and they host it in your high school parking lot. And one of the carnies says before you get on the tilt-o-whirl, I wouldn't sit in that chair. We've had some problems with it. Raider fans are so odd and delusional. They get very angry because they're all over the country. And they're always asking you, how do you think the Raiders will do this year? I don't know. They're in a division with Andy Reid, Sean Payton, and Jim Harbaugh, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and a very promising rookie named Bo Nix with 61 college starts. And the Raiders have a defensive head coach who has $28 million in financial debt because of car dealership things gone sideways. He's an interim coach, a former player who's never been a full-time head coach. And again, Andy Reid twice a year, Sean.
All right. We get the point. We get the picture. We get the picture. So what he did there, he mixed in some truth, some obvious truth. We understand what the Raiders are up against. You know, obviously Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid. We know how great they are and all that good stuff. But then you could tell like he was talking out his ass a little bit when he was Bo Nix with 61 starts. Come on, bro. Yeah. Like who are you fooling with that one? You know what I mean? When's the last time the Broncos beat the Raiders? You know what I mean? He didn't mention that right there, right? And obviously the Chargers. Look, at the end of the day, like he has a narrative. That day, it was I'm going to talk about the Raiders in this way because this is going to grab people's attention and people are going to get mad and they're going to want to say something, and bad publicity is good publicity. And some people mentioned in the chat, like, no one listens to Coward and all that. It is what it is. Hey, look, at the end of the day, we know what it is, man. We're going to be paying attention to the team. If y'all want to really pay attention to the Raiders, hey, y'all here, man, the 50-50 show, man. We going to talk about the Raiders. We're going to keep it real. We're not going to lie to y'all, man. And if we say anything that y'all don't agree with, you guys are going to let us know in the chat, man. So we appreciate the support. Guys like Coward, they're not paying attention to the team. They're just going to randomly just, you know what, I'm going to talk about the Raiders because this is what I want to talk about. And they're just going to say whatever narrative they want to push that day. But watch, when the Raiders start winning or going on a win streak, oh, man, Antonio Pierce, passionate guy. He's the leader of the Raiders. And yada da 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 da. Aiden O'Connell this, or this defense this. The D-line is dominating. Man, who would have thought? Like the whole. You know what? It's just
like the Raiders. They've always been one of those teams I always want to keep my eye on. And I've been telling all my producers that hey, this Antonio Pierce guy, watch out for him because he's like complete narrative change. He's not going to address what he said in the past. He's going to switch it up.
Yeah, man. Hey, Smoke, appreciate the super chat again. He says, taking personal shots at AP, low blow. Yeah, he did low key in that clip. I don't know if we were able to hear one of the things he said, but I remember hearing the clip the first time, and he mentioned that, this guy owes a whole bunch of money.
$28 million.
Yeah, $28 million. And, it's just like no context. And come on, man. Come on, man. I think he's just trying to get some views, get some attention. Raider fans, look, at the end of the day, like I said earlier, Raider Nation is worldwide. And some of these media outlets, what they want to do is they want to grab your attention so you can watch what they say, whether you agree with them or not. So I'm just letting y'all know. So Colin Cowherd is no different from everybody else. So it is what it is, man. I'm not really tripping, but definitely flag on a play. Shout out to Raider Smoke, man, for actually bringing that to our attention. We seen it, but we forgot about it. Appreciate you, my guy. Appreciate the super chat. Definitely a clown, man. Y'all know who to watch when it's about the Raiders, man. Every Monday, man. 50-50 show, man. PharoahNFL, myself, and obviously this Severe Raider, man. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff, man. Y'all know what it is, man. But
Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, go ahead.
Josh Jacobs. No, Josh Jacobs. We all know how I feel about Josh Jacobs, man. But that dude, this team was so dysfunctional and all this stuff. But he would have stayed for the money, though, right? Like say all this, like not like he wasn't turning down. though. He would have stayed for the money. If the price was right, he would have stayed. So it couldn't have been that bad. So you know what? Like I said, man, I already people kind of dude he was a long time ago. So good luck up there in Green Bay. And from what I'm hearing from people who are Green Bay fans, is that they think they signed him, thought he was going to be Aaron Jones. Looks like he's going to be more like AJ Dillon. He's not going to be like that bell cow guy. So we're going to see how happy he gets up there.
I don't know. AJ Dillon, I think Jacobs is going to be good over there. I think especially with the quarterback play, the offensive pieces they have. But we'll see. We'll see. He got to stay healthy. But I see what you're saying, though. I see what you're saying. Because if the offer was better, I'm sure – new GM comes into town, probably didn't want to pay the running back position, doesn't have really a relationship with Josh Jacobs. If you want to take whatever Josh Jacobs said on his way out for any type of, worth, he did say that he didn't hear from the Raiders after, there was no, conversation that he had with Telesco. So take that for what it was worth. So I don't know if that's true. If it is, then I guess, it is what it is, man. He had to make a business decision for himself and his family. He moved on. But it does kind of sound kind of funny where you, during the season, you're like, oh, I'm going to play for, I want to come back and play for Antonio Pierce. But then in these interviews, you kind of be like, oh, well, the Raiders, I'm tired of the Raiders and this, that, and the third. But didn't you say you were going to come back for Pierce? We understand it's a business, but why say that?
Take less money to come back.
It's
look, maybe the Raiders were tired of losing, so they let Josh Jacobs go. Maybe that's it.
Damn, hey man, hey Severe be throwing man, shots fired, man. Hey, appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that good stuff, man. We are not done yet, man. We got some notable quotables coming up. Let's get into the chat, man. Look, man, I didn't forget about the night crew, man. I didn't forget about y'all. Raiders, Alex says, Raiders beating the Chiefs last season. Come on, man. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Hayden. Hey, yeah, like Bayless. Is he going to be the new Bayless, Skip Bayless? Because I don't know if y'all heard about Skip Bayless, I heard his time with Fox Fox Sports is pretty much over, So
they did Skip Bayless like they doing Biden. Get your old ass up out of here.
Yeah, he's getting old, man. He's getting old.
He's like 70 something, bro. I was watching the clip. It was from the early 90s with Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless was old then. I'm like, damn, bro, this dude been old for 30 years.
Daniel Kim says media is all the same. It's why Rich Eisen is for real, even though he's a Jets fan. But you know what, though? Low key, I think Rich Eisen's a Raider fan.
No, Rich Eisen be giving us love all the time, bro. All the time.
I think he low key. I think his East Coast team is the Jets, and I think his West Coast team is the Raiders. Because every time the Raiders have any type of momentum, he's like, man, I think this is. Yeah. I think this is the time. It's the Raiders' time. I think I haven't. There's always been that time during the season where Rich Eisen has always shout out the Raiders and put his reputation on the line, saying hey, I think this is gonna be the team that's gonna be a team to look out for and be a playoff contender and yada yada yada. So Rich Eisen always kind of showing love for the Raiders, man. But at the end of the day, man, to be honest with you, I don't really care if anybody shows love. I just want to hear the truth. I don't really care about showing love. Let me hear the truth. Facts. I don't want to hear like people just, oh yeah, the Raiders this, but it's not really true. Like, what's the point of that? I want to hear what's actually going on, and that's why we try our best to do that over here on our channels and on this show. So obviously, if we're gonna be rooting for the Raiders, but at the same time, we're gonna call it how we see it. Raider Smoke says Jacobs, aka Eddie Lacy, been a diva. Good luck, Eddie Lacy. Wow, wow, Eddie Lacy, man, Alabama running back too, former Alabama running back too. That's funny,
man. Alabama running backs, bro, they do not translate well to the league, bro. Outside of Derrick Henry, they don't transfer well, bro. They do not translate well.
Hey, come on, let's not hate on Jacobs that much. Come on, man. He was pretty good, man. He was pretty good. He had
the one good year. Like remember Trent Richardson had that crazy year, and then he fell off.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that. See,
Alabama running back.
We can't compare Trent Richardson to Jacobs as a pro. Trent Richardson as a college player, he was pretty good. But
he was better than pretty good. He was a monster. But remember, as a pro, remember he had that crazy year was it with Indianapolis first, and then he went to Cleveland, or was it with Cleveland first and then he went to Indianapolis? He had a crazy year. Then he got
Richardson
traded.
Richardson was a huge bust. He was a huge bust. Richardson was a huge
massive. He was a massive bust. But he had one crazy year. He had one like super good year. It was like, okay, damn, Trent Richardson is that guy, and then he was never the same again. Eddie Lacy never really did it. Josh Jacobs had one really good year, and then he fell off a cliff. The only guy that's been consistent, Najee Harris, has been kind of a bum. The only guy that's really did in the league, like Damian Harris, he's been a solid NFL player, nothing really spectacular, nothing to write home about. Only guy that's really done it consistently is Derrick Henry. And Derrick Henry's just a freak of nature. Like he's just you won't like he's a freak of nature.
Yeah, like 2012, I think might have been his rookie year. He ran for 950 yards. So look, we can't compare no Trent Richardson to Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is a pretty good player. Did he leave on a sour note, whatever you want to call it? You know, I understand that, but he was not a bad player.
What did Josh Jacobs run for last year?
He had one great year. He led the league in rushing.
Exactly.
But all the other years were pretty good.
Nah, his year two was trash. Except for those last 4 games. The last 4 games is good, but other than that, is trash. His rookie year was solid. Last year was trash. His rookie year was solid. His rookie year was solid to good, right? It was solid to good.
All right,
His second year was trash. His third year he blew up. His fourth year. Now the third year. Fourth year. The fourth year was the year he led the league in rushing. Fourth year he led the league in rushing. So and then his fifth year was trash. So his rookie year was good. Second year was Third year was bad. Then he came back, and he had a great year. And then he had a bad year last year.
Rookie year he ran for over 1,100 yards.
It was pretty good.
2020 it was an injury. He had some injuries that year, but still ran for 1,000 yards. 2021 also had injuries that year, but finished the season strong and was the guy that was carrying the offense. If you guys remember, y'all don't have short-term memory.
Last 4 games. Last 4 games
he was carrying that offense. It wasn't Derek Carr was making some key plays down the stretch, but he wasn't carrying the offense. It was the Josh Jacobs show. And then 2022, we all know he led the league in rushing. And then 2023, we seen how like injuries
immediately fell off the cliff.
Offense out of sync. Hey, the offense was out. So offense was on out of sync. Come on, bro. Like that. You can't.
He's supposed to be the guy, though. He's supposed to be the guy. He's supposed to be the.
But you compared him to Trent Richardson, man. I can't let you do that, man.
I'm just saying he's an Alabama running back that's going to have a good year and then fall off a cliff. That's what's going to happen to him.
I'm just being honest.
Didn't that guy that used to play? No. DeMarco Murray. I think he went to he was a Sooner. He was a Sooner. DeMarco Murray was a Sooner. So I can't compare him to DeMarco Murray. But here's another guy that had some great years and fell off a cliff too. Yeah.
Hey man. Hey look man. Appreciate the super chat again, Raider Smoke. He says, "Hey, YF with you guys. Severe keeps it 100, empty the clip. Hey, man, you got. Hey, Smoke is with you, man. I think he's with you when it comes to.
I think he's talking about yeah. Just in general. I don't know if you're talking about Josh Jacobs, but yeah, just in general.
Are you with him on Josh Jacobs? I don't think. Come on, you're comparing him to Trent Richardson, and who else was you comparing him to? You know, it is what it is. I think it didn't end the way.
Najee Harris. I mean, all those guys was drafted.
Nah. Josh Jacobs is better than Najee Harris. Josh Jacobs is way better than Trent Richardson. Not even close.
He's better.
Not even close. It's not even close. It's not even close. He played 2 years. Trent Richardson played 2 years in the league. I just pulled up his. I played a minute. Look. I went to Pro Sports Reference. That's a reliable source, right? His rookie year was 2012, and everything stops at 2014. That was Trent Richardson's career, and you just compared him to Josh Jacobs.
Now he played with us.
Yeah, he didn't make the team. He didn't make the team with the Raiders. Or if he did, he didn't play. He didn't play a snap. I remember in preseason, I remember everyone was laughing. This clip went viral, where it was a huge hole in preseason, and then Trent Richardson literally missed the entire hole. And I don't even think he made the team. I think he might have got cut, to be honest with you, because he played with Cleveland, and then after that he played with the Colts.
Yeah, he didn't make the team.
So his career was 2 years. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, he made the league. You know, it's tough making the league. I'm not trying to down him, whatever, but I'm just like, if you compare him to a guy like Josh Jacobs, it's not even close. Come on, like, you serious?
I give you that.
Hey, Severe got exposed.
I give you that.
Your hate for Josh Jacobs is crazy.
No, well,
man,
I was just saying Alabama running backs in general, but he's better than Trent Richardson. We'll see.
Right.
We'll see what he does the rest of his career.
So Josh Jacobs, Henry, and then after that, like, I guess it's kind of shaky. I'm trying to think of other Alabama. Eddie Lacy, he was maybe solid for a second, and then I don't know, he kind of fell off. I don't even know. I'm trying to think of other Alabama running backs outside of Trent Richardson. We just named, he kind of flamed out. Damn, that was a huge bust because he went number 3.
Yeah,
I think he went top. He went number 3. So that was a huge bust for the Browns, man. So it is what it is, man. But let me check out the chat, man. The night crew. Let's see. Let me catch up, man. It's going crazy right now. I'm trying to catch up. Let's see. So Smoke says no. So Josh Jacobs ain't got no love for the West Coast. Man, oh man. Look, Marty Mart says that there was no offer for Jacobs, so no less money for him to take. Bye, Felicia. Hey.
Yeah. I mean, the year before, they offered him. I think they had made like 3 offers, and he turned them all down. Then he played on the franchise tag. It was a bump.
Yeah, I don't think Telesco was bought in with Josh Jacobs. Like, I think he probably gave him. I don't know if there was any offer, but because
that's another one. So I think somebody put in the chat. I put him over Josh Jacobs. Mark Ingram better than Josh Jacobs.
Mark Ingram, hell.
Mark Ingram better than Josh Jacobs, bro. Mark Ingram better than Josh Jacobs.
Better than
Josh Jacobs in college. Better than Josh Jacobs in a pro. Better than Josh Jacobs after his pro career.
Mark Ingram, and he played in great offenses too, and he was barely squeaking out yards. He was actually, let me see. I mean, he's not a bad player. Don't get me wrong. He ain't no Trent Richardson. Look, he's not a bad player.
Mark Ingram was a dog.
Hold on. Let me look at his numbers.
Was a dog. And he got Heisman.
Yeah, but you're talking about college. I'm talking about the pros. We talking about the pros.
Yeah,
and he had a solid career. He had a solid career with the Saints, but he wasn't a difference maker than like Josh Jacobs was. I don't remember him doing anything spectacular.
I will say this: Mark Ingram played in the league for like 11 years.
Come on,
Mark
man.
Ingram played in the league for 11 years. Josh Jacobs is not going to play in the league for 11 years.
Hey, severe, man. Come on, man. I'm looking at the.
And
This
remember,
dude barely,
Mark Ingram. Remember, Mark Ingram played in the 2-back system as well.
For a reason.
No, that's just because that's how the Saints ran it. That's how the Saints ran their offense. Josh Jacobs got all of the carries in this offense. All of the carries.
Rookie year 3.9. Second year in the league 3.9. Okay, third year 4.9, 4.3, 4.6. Okay, 5.9. All right.
He averaged better yards per carry every year except for 1 year.
And that role player. He just looks like a role player.
Every year except for 1 year.
Solid
that's
role
what Josh
player.
Jacobs is going to be. That's what Josh Jacobs is. Josh Jacobs averaged 3.8 yards for his career. We're feeding him the ball.
Nah, I don't think Mark Ingram is better than Josh Jacobs. That's crazy.
He's gonna have a longer career than Josh Jacobs. Guarantee you.
He's gonna have.
And there's a reason for it.
Mark Ingram is gonna have a longer career.
Guaranteed.
I don't know about that.
11 years in the league for a reason.
I don't know. I don't know. Because why? Why do you think he's gonna have a longer career? Just because like his
Jacobs
personality?
He's gonna flame out, bro. Not even that. Just Josh Jacobs is gonna flame out, bro. I've seen it all before. This always happens, bro. The dudes have happened to DeMarco Murray, happened to David Johnson, it happened to Todd Gurley, it happened to Larry Johnson. It always happens. These dudes have these crazy years. They get all these carries, they take all these hits, they blow up, and then 3 years later, they're out of the league. McFadden went to Arkansas.
Yeah, McFadden went to Arkansas, and McFadden, talent-wise, for sure, hell yeah, like he was
sure he's better than Josh Jacobs.
Talent-wise, but career, no, career.
He could have been.
Put out
Injuries.
And injuries. When I say injuries, like injuries really robbed him of. Man, like he was an MVP candidate for the Raiders because he was literally their like what Max Crosby is for the Raiders. He was carrying that team the way, you know what I mean. Everybody else was the way that team was built with Hugh Jackson and all those like speedy out to Jacoby Fords and Marcel Reese's and then just Darren McFadden was that like blue chip player for us, but he just couldn't hold up, man. Injuries kind of robbed him of his career, man.
Yeah.
Hey, let me SoCal Sal, man. He says Severe hates everyone, man. He doesn't hate everyone, but he hates Josh Jacobs for sure.
People. I hate Josh Jacobs for sure, bro. Dude's a straight man. Like, I don't want to call him man out his name, but yeah, I do not like the dude at all, man. I do not like the dude at all.
No, we're not talking about college. We're talking about the pros. But Ingram, yeah, he was a lot of these players before they come in.
But at the time he was playing in the committee system. That's what people don't realize. He was in like a true committee system. It wasn't like he's getting all like Josh Jacobs got 95% of our carries. So people look at stats and like, oh, look at these numbers. Josh Jacobs he was in a true committee system. And then he had Alvin Kamara at 1.2, and Alvin Kamara was like one of the best backs in the league at one point as well. So it's like he was never like the true like number one guy because that's not how they ran their offense. So like that's not his fault, you know. But when his time, look at his yards per carry. He's every year averaging more yards per carry than Josh Jacobs. And that's why that's why I've always been a fan of the committee system. That's why I said get rid of Josh Jacobs, replace it with a committee system.
Well, he's also played in a better offense with a better QB, with a better offensive system. Like you could better play caller. So and also
he also threw the ball a lot more. So like he wasn't getting those touches that Josh Jacobs was having. He was like Drew Brees was breaking records for attempts for completions, all that stuff. So he wasn't getting the opportunities that Josh Jacobs was.
But just watching Josh Jacobs play and watching Ingram play, I'm taking Josh Jacobs. To be honest with you,
I'm taking Mark Ingram.
I'm taking Josh, man. I'm taking Josh. Like at the end of the day, look, hey, he ain't a Raider, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm taking Josh Jacobs. But you entitled to your own opinion, man. But I'm sorry, man.
Josh Jacobs third.
Ingram. You said what?
He's third. I put Derrick Henry, Mark Ingram, then I put Josh Jacobs. He could be third. Third in that list. Third.
Man, hey man, that's crazy. That's crazy. As a pro, Or are you talking about all-time Alabama running back? That's different.
All-time Alabama. Josh Jacobs Josh Jacobs don't rank, bro. He's not in the.
Yeah,
he's not
'cause he
top
only-
15, probably, bro. He's
because
not in the conversation.
his career.
Damian
and how much
Harris.
carries
Damian Harris was a better running back in college than Josh Jacobs.
because he had more of a role. I mean, I think Josh Jacobs literally had 1 year of starting, maybe, possibly, and after
In the
that,
start, he was never a full-time starter. Damian Harris was a full-time starter the entire time they were there.
Yeah, it's different type of situation. But as a pro, I think Josh.
As
we'll
a pro,
see though.
Josh Jacobs is way better.
We'll see what he does with the Packers, man. We'll see what he does with the Packers. I think he's a better running back than everybody that you mentioned, except for Derrick Henry. Then Derrick Henry is just a different. That's a whole different beast. Man. But yeah, man. Hey, let's move it along, man. We kind of got a little sidetracked with the Josh Jacobs, man. That kind of wraps up our flags on the play, man. I'm sure there's more out there, but like I said earlier, public service announcement. If you guys have find anything that might be a flag on a play that has anything to do with the Raiders, the NFL, whatever the case may be, send it over to me on my social media, either on IG or Twitter. Just send me a DM. I'm gonna look at it and I'm gonna shout y'all out and give y'all props for letting me know and showing me. And it might be a flag on a play next week. Same thing with the Severe Raider. You can find them all over social media. But we're not done yet. We got some notable quotables, and let me actually get to it real quick. This one is a clip where you kind of sent this over to me. Aiden O'Connell. They're talking about Aiden O'Connell and his ceiling. And right now,
mad.
And I'm gonna go ahead and pull up this clip, but this is interesting because the battle is definitely ongoing. We don't know who's gonna win. I have an idea. I think that AOC might have the edge if it's close, or obviously if AOC plays better, then it's definitely AOC. If it's close, I think it's AOC. You want to go with the younger player, probably more upside, but anything could happen. But according to this clip here, let me play this real quick, and then y'all let me know, man, what y'all think. And this is a clip that she sent. Hold on, let me see. All right, yeah.
They also spent $12.5 million on Gardner Minshew, obviously, who has plenty of warts in his own right. But if you want somebody who's going to stretch the field and give his receivers chances, that's Gardner. It was not Jimmy Garoppolo. To a degree, it was Aiden O'Connell, but I feel like Gardner is just a better version of what Aiden could be, right? Like, I think if Aiden gets maxed out, he might just beat Gardner Minshew. So just go get Gardner Minshew. That was probably the thought process behind it. Like, let's just skip that step and just go get that. Plus, $12.5 million for a quarterback who's going to be starting for you when other starting quarterbacks in the league cost $55 million. Economically speaking, yeah, that's okay. They also spent $12.5 million on Gardner Minshew, obviously.
So he's basically, if you guys heard that right, he's basically saying AOC's ceiling is Gardner Minshew, which is, man, I'm just gonna go ahead and do this real quick. Man, that's a shot at AOC and what he is as a player. But also they kind of looked at, they're talking about Gardner Minshew's contract, and that's an easy kind of like, all right, well, that's a guy that you're probably going to pencil in as a starter because he's getting paid more. They got some money invested in him, but it's not as much money as you think compared to all the other starting quarterbacks that are getting paid, so much money. But what are your thoughts on that, Severe, man? Because I don't look at it from that perspective. I don't think AOC's ceiling is Gardner Minshew. I think it's two different games. Maybe I think what he's trying to say is probably it's the same type of career trajectory, like backup type of player, maybe a borderline starter. That's what he's trying to say. And when you say it that, if that's what he meant, I kind of can see that possibly, but we'll see, man. At the end of the day, man, look at the Raiders got it's going to be interesting to see how this offense kind of develops over preseason, what Luke Getsy has up his sleeve, how they use some of the pieces they have on offense. And I think what I'm betting on, if you're going to bet on the Raiders offense, bet on the players around AOC and Gardner Minshew. Just bet on them.
Yeah.
Bet on Davante Adams, bet on Jacoby Myers, possibly bet on Trey Tucker, the way, everybody's been talking about him. Even guys like Davante Adams is in his rookie year was talking about, like, I've never seen a guy this mature. If I was like this coming out, I would have been a way better player. He had so many compliments to give this guy on top of of AOP talking about Trey Tucker over the offseason. And then you got the two tight ends. Obviously you got Zamir White, possible X factor. So I'm betting on the offense as a whole to carry the guys at quarterback. I think that is my ideal. I think that's what I'm looking at it from that perspective. They're looking at it like, oh, well, these guys are going to be this type of player. But sometimes not every team is built that way. And I always use the 49ers as an example because they're a team that's stacked everywhere. And they really don't have, like, the quarterback doesn't really have to make or carry the team like that. I mean, obviously Purdy has been making plays for the 49ers, but I'm just saying we can talk about their roster all we want. Like, it could be a whole lot of, it's one of the best rosters in the NFL. With the Raiders, I think it's like the same style. Like, I'm just saying, like, just look at the offense and see how it kind of like complements the quarterbacks that we have. They don't have to carry the team. They don't have to be Tom Brady out there. This could be a flag too. I'm not gonna lie. This is a little shot at AOC. But what were your thoughts on it when you first heard the clip?
So I will say this: we talk about Brock Purdy, right, and how he's only the like personnel dependent, but he's kind of system dependent as well. If you look at the game he had against the Baltimore Ravens last year, right? I think Deebo Samuel wasn't there. And I think Trent Williams might not have been there that game as well. You see the results you get, right? 4 interceptions, they get spanked. So it could be, you don't want to put yourself in that situation where you are forced to kind of keep all these pieces around a subpar quarterback because, this guy can't take the reins or can't make the players around him better. But to what they were saying, we really don't know what Aiden O'Connell's ceiling is, right? We have our thoughts and our beliefs. If you're talking about ceiling maxed out, I mean, maxed out, I think maxed out, he'll be like, if you you squeeze every bit of potential out of Aiden O'Connell, you can squeeze out of him. I think he'll be better than Gardner Minshew. That being said, like, will he ever be better or be more productive than what Gardner Minshew is? Like, we don't know, right? Is he like, like some say he's kind of like a Ryan Fitzpatrick type of guy, right? Like he can, he come in there, he can win you some games, he can throw the rock around, but eventually teams figure him out, and then he's kind of the sparkle and the shine kind of wears off of him. So all that is yet to be seen. People criticize Gardner Minshew. I mean, Gardner Minshew, generally, he starts out seasons well. The thing about Gardner Minshew, why he could have an edge, is that Gardner Minshew, he's not a guy that's afraid to give his receivers opportunity to make plays. And while that can be a good thing, especially on a team like this, we got guys like Davante and Jacoby and Michael Mayer, where they can go up and they can win those 50-50 balls. Shout out 50-50. They can go up and win those 50-50 balls. It also leads to a lot of turnover-worthy plays. And you get enough turnover-worthy plays, you're going to have a lot of turnovers. And that's kind of been the downfall of Gardner Minshew throughout his career, right? It's just turn the ball over too much. So maybe this personnel kind of fits him a little bit better, but we'll see. But yeah, I was hating on me when I said Aiden O'Connell was Chad Pennington. Now these dudes are saying Aiden O'Connell is Gardner Minshew. As I say, sometimes we gotta take off those Raider color glasses and see what other people are saying. And consistently, we're ranked, if not last in the league as a quarterback room, we're like one of the last. Or I was looking at PFF. I think they have us at 30. We see, Chris Sims. We didn't even have a quarterback in the top 32. Like all these other people who like know the game or are around the game were saying the Raiders quarterback situation is trash. But we're holding on hope, right? And that's all we can do right now. Is all we can, because we have who we have. So all we can do is cling on to hope that we're able to win with the guys that we have, and that the talent around them is able to kind of carry them and lead them to higher heights than they've seen before. If we get what Gardner Minshew did last year, we'll have like they were almost a playoff team. If we get what Aiden O'Connell did, like the last, outside the Minnesota and the Chiefs game, but those other games outside of those games, if we get that same level of production, we can be a playoff team. So I think we have enough talent to do that. It's just that we have just about everything on offense except a quarterback, and we're kind of unsure about our right tackle. And maybe some question marks about whether Zamir can hold up over a 17-game season. But no, the most important question we have is that quarterback. So I think if we can get the answer to that question, and the answer is Aiden O'Connell, I think that puts us in a very advantageous situation, because I don't want to say he's a young guy, but he's new to the NFL, because even though he's in the second year, I want to say he's still 2 months older than Jordan Love, who's been in the league for quite some time now. So he's not really a young guy, but he still is a guy on his rookie contract. He's very cheap. We have team control over him for 2 more years after this season. So if he's able to kind of prove that he can be the guy for the job, I think that bodes well for us, and that allows us to kind of focus our energy elsewhere on the roster rather than spending capital to draft a quarterback or move up potentially in the draft to take one.
When the Raiders first drafted AOC, man, I was kind of disappointed, because I'm looking at AOC and I'm looking at it, and it's like a throwback to what quarterbacks used to be back in the day. But in today's NFL, like, we're looking around the league, I'm like, man, the Raiders, like, why do we have to be the team that have to be behind as far as the type of quarterbacks that we have out there? I want to get the big, athletic, strong arm quarterback, man. That's today NFL. Like, look at all the best quarterbacks. Why don't we have to get the opposite, But then, you know what? I was pleasantly surprised with AOC in the preseason to see how accurate he was, to see his game. Yeah. And I think back to that, I'm like, all right, there might be something here. There's a possibility, you know what I mean, that the Raiders have something here. But the plan was never for him to play last year. He was a fourth round. You could tell, because when we thought he was going to be the backup, just based off how he played, to Jimmy G, he was a third-string quarterback, and Hoyer was the backup, and then it was Jimmy G. So their plan was never to have him on the football field, and we seen how that entire season unfolded. It was kind of unfair to him. It was just a terrible situation. That's why I'm like, it's hard to really judge the offense as a whole. Yeah, the players have to take some type of responsibility, but it just felt like the problems with the Raiders offense wasn't a talent issue. It was deep rooted, and it was just it just didn't work on offense. You know what I mean? Defensively it worked, but offensively they needed to blow it up, figure out like, hey, you know what? Maybe change up a piece here, maybe get the right system, and hopefully you got guys like Michael Mayer throwing kind of shots at McDaniels. Hey, it's a lot more simpler. I could play faster, and I didn't like coming to work last year, but now I do. Hey, you know what I mean? That's pretty much him just saying like, hey, look, last year it was just terrible. Now this year I feel like a lot more confident, and hopefully that's reflected on all the players that's playing on the team. And AOC, man, if he could just play his game and just doesn't force it, and Zamir White can just be the guy that we can just hand the ball off and get 4 or 5 yards and play action. You got a wide open, this tight end, you know what I mean? Davante, like it's just, we have everything that we need on offense for us to be effective. And you mentioned a big part of what you're going to be looking forward to in training camp earlier, and it was a good one. You said Thayer Munford, and no one's really talking about that. I think that's going to be an underrated player to keep an eye on, just because like there's not a battle over there. They kind of gave him the spot, which is kind of interesting. You know what I mean? They're pretty confident. Just like, all right, well, this is your job. It's your, there's not really anybody who's going to be competing for the right side. I don't think there's anybody.
Nobody.
Dalton
really.
Wagner, you know what I mean? Does he come out of nowhere and just take Thayer Munford's job? I don't know, but
with the RKO, yeah, like come on.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the only thing that I can think of, man, that could probably hurt our quarterback position is maybe the O-line probably not protecting them. But I just don't think there's a whole lot of pressure on the quarterback position as much as we like to think. Because we're putting a lot of pressure on it just because we feel like Patrick Mahomes is right there, Justin Herbert. But that's not how the team is built, man. I don't think that's how they're going to win on Sundays. I think on Sundays they're going to win based off playing defense, forcing turnovers, protecting the football, running the football, and coming out top like that.
But if you look at it, the opposite could be true as well, where it's like, you know what, like we look at it like, you know what, hey, we're not going to really depend on the quarterback, so it's not really a whole lot of pressure on the quarterback. But, like conversely, like I said, the opposite is true as well, where it's like, man, the Raiders have all this talent, like, they have a great defense, they have all these weapons. Like, what do they not have on offense? Oh, right, a quarterback. So if things don't go well offensively, there's going to be a portion of the fan base that blames Luke Getsy, but there's going to be another portion of the fan base that blames Aiden O'Connell. And the pitchforks have already, kind of been out for Aiden O'Connell already. Some people have already kind of made up their mind on him. So whatever he does or does not do is only going to reinforce what they feel about him. So the pitchfork is going to be out even more, because I think everybody or most people in the nation were excited about the potential of drafting a franchise quarterback. I think that was the talk for most of us. And when we didn't do that and we pivoted and went with, hey, you know what, let's put training wheels on this bike, right? We're not going to give you a motorcycle. We're going to put training wheels on your bicycle in the, with a guy like Brock Bowers and, basically surrounding you all these weapons where like you almost can't mess up. And if he still figures a way to mess up, then I think that's going to be a lot of pressure on him.
See, the thing is too, it's like the thing with AOC is like, all right, I hope, like, this is me I'm just being real, just letting y'all know, like, hey, look, I'm being real. Do I see AOC leading the Raiders to the Super Bowl? Nah, I don't. I can't. Nah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't see.
You're a hater. You Colin Cowherd hater.
Hey, I don't see it though. I just don't see it. Hey, if it happens, I'm gonna be the first one to be like, man, I was wrong, and I'm glad the Raiders won a Super Bowl. But I don't see AOC winning a Super Bowl based off what we've seen and what, like, his skill set. Like, I just don't see it. And I hope that the Raiders don't get stuck like they were with Derek Carr for 9 years. Yeah. They were just stuck at that, that, all right, oh, he's good enough to do this, but he's not good enough to get past or get this team to the playoffs or get past this quarterback. It felt like every time we played a good quarterback, that other quarterback played better than Derek Carr, for example. I just hope that we're able to make that shrewd move and be like, you know what? We're not getting it done. We need to find an answer at quarterback, because this is the extra piece. So, and if you look at how the Raiders are constructed, to be honest with you, if AOC is going to be, he's going to be on. I think AOC and the quarterback, Gardner Minshew, AOC, they're going to be on a short leash, meaning that the Raiders have everything they need on offense. So it's not going to be a matter of, oh, we can't really evaluate the quarterback position because the quarterback didn't have X, Y, and Z. Nah, you had Davante Adams, you have two young talented tight ends, you got receivers, you got what you need to be successful. And if we playing a tough game later in the season, divisional game, or even a playoff game, and the quarterback plays bad, even if they had a solid season, I hope the Raiders can make a decision and be like, you know what? We need to draft a young. We need a backup plan, a plan B. Whether draft a young QB, have them develop under while these guys hold the quarterback position, or he comes in and compete. They need to get a quarterback where they feel like they can win a Super Bowl, because that's the name of the game. What's the point?
Yes.
I just hope that's what they do. You know what I mean? If AOC is the franchise guy, or if Gardner Minshew's franchise guy, I got no problem with that, because they proved that. But if they just prove that they're good enough,
it sounds disgusting. Yeah,
it sounds disgusting.
That sounds so disgusting.
I can't even say it with confidence, man. I can't say it with confidence.
That sounds so disgusting, bro. It just sounds. That does not inspire confidence, man. And I don't want to hate on the dudes, man, because they're Raiders, so I'm pulling for them, man. But it's just like just say there's just that sentence. This doesn't sound right, man.
Yeah, look at Raider Smoke, man. My God, with the super chat, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate the super chat. He says, Dak Prescott, you are a Raider 2025. I don't even want that, man. It's way better than our quarterbacks now. I'm not saying that. He's way better than our quarterbacks now.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that. But is he truly the answer for the Raiders? Is he truly the guy that you want to give by next year? How much is Dak Prescott going to get every year now? He's going to literally take up the entire cap space that the Raiders have. And what is that going to amount to? How are we going to? We're basically saying he's going to be the guy that's going to lead the Raiders to Super Bowl. I don't know if he's that guy, man. If he was that guy, he would not be leaving the Cowboys.
He would have did it. He would have did it with Dallas. He would have did it with Dallas.
Yeah.
I don't mean, like I said, it's a huge upgrade at the quarterback position, but as we've seen, right, outside of Patrick Mahomes, who is a generational talent at quarterback, possibly the most gifted quarterback we've ever seen, unfortunately. Generally, guys that sign those big contracts at quarterback, they don't win Super Bowls again, right? Like it doesn't happen. So once the quarterback signs that big contract, they generally don't win again. It's part of the reason why Tom Brady never really signed like no massive contract when he was a quarterback. Like he got his money, but he was never like, Tom Brady's out here to break the bank. He kept the main thing. He kept the main thing. And the main thing for him was winning and building a legacy. And that's why he has 7 Super Bowls, right? So, that's what you get when you make those sacrifices on the front end. That stuff, it pays off on the back end. And I'm sure he's earned so much money off the field that it's offsetting whatever he sacrificed on the field just by virtue of him being a winner. So those big guys, big contracts, eventually you have to make roster sacrifices. And a lot of times those guys aren't good enough to compensate for the sacrifices you have to make elsewhere on the roster to maintain that level of winning. Yeah.
Yeah. And shout out to Raider Smoke, man, my guy, man, always stays. I appreciate the support. I'm gonna have to call this Marty Mart, man, my guy. Was able to see you in Vegas, but I'm gonna have to call you out right here, man. And I know Samir made a point too as well. He brought up Trent Dilfer and Brad Johnson and how they got it done. But I just want to remind you, I know it feels like it happened yesterday, but that was years ago, over 20 years ago. Over 20 years ago, the NFL has changed. Brad Johnson, Trent Dilfer are not going to win Super Bowls in today's NFL. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We haven't seen it. Let's talk about recent history. Time has changed. You're going to need a talented quarterback to win a Super Bowl. You're going to need better quarterback play than Trent Dilfer and Brad Johnson. It just is what it is. Look, let's be real. Trent Dilfer, Brad Johnson, they were able to win a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay and the Ravens back in the day, but that was over 20 years. The time has changed. The game has changed. The types of quarterbacks that it takes to win the Super Bowls. Just look at the past Super Bowl winners. You got former number 1 pick Matthew Stafford. Big arm, one of the best arms in football. You could see the game. Literally, he got traded to the Rams, and they automatically won a Super Bowl. First year. won a Super Bowl. Do we have to say anything about Kansas City Chiefs? We understand Mahomes is Mahomes. It is what it is. Just look at like the past Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, and you could just see that there's a track record of like, all right, that quarterback play, it got to be top tier in today's NFL passing league. You don't necessarily got to be athletic. We see Tom Brady, but Tom Brady's kind of a throwback. Like, you know, if you just look at today's NFL, the NFL quarterback, they gotta bring more to the table than just be a pocket passer. They got to be able to buy some time, have a good enough arm, all that good stuff, man. And I just don't think that game managers are just I think being a game manager is one of the responsibilities of being a quarterback. But if that's your only thing that you bring to the table, I don't think that's good enough to win a Super Bowl. Am I lying here?
Nah. And you look at it like this, right? So we talk about Brad Johnson and Trent Dilfer. So Trent Dilfer had possibly, who some consider the greatest defense of all time. Some people consider, the greatest linebacker of all time. Probably a top 5 DB period, in Ed Reed, the top safety of all time. So he had like tremendous talent on defense, like Marvin Lewis coordinating the defense. Like he had just an incredible defense. And then Brad Johnson. So we go to Brad Johnson. I maintain, and I will continue to say until this day, that if Tampa Bay plays anybody but the Raiders, they lose. And if the Raiders play anybody but Tampa Bay, they win. It was a perfect storm of them getting us in that Super Bowl, and that led them to that win. If not for that, I think the Raiders would have won that game.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I said, so that's why and that was another team that was stacked on defense. Derek Brooks. I can't other people there. What's the guy that they had a defensive end? They had a freak defensive end as well. Like they had some crazy talent on that defense as well. So that was a super talented defense. So I mean, that's another situation where that was more of a defensive win than an offensive win.
Yeah, man. And look, hey, look,
come on over, Diesel. Come on over, brother.
Shout out to Diesel, man. Hey, look, y'all can get these hats too, man. Just we'll let y'all know, man. Just hit us up on IG, man. We'll tell y'all where you get these hats. But that being said, look, I'm not trying to be the negative guy. Like y'all usually know me as the guy that's super positive, and I want the Raiders to win. But let's, like I said earlier in the show, man, we're gonna keep it real. And we're gonna have that conversation, and I think that like the Raiders do got to upgrade that quarterback position. But as of right now, can they be competitive? Can they get to the playoffs? Let's get to the playoffs. Can we win a playoff game? I think let's build that, and then eventually we're gonna have to address that quarterback position. I think that's what's gonna happen. Now, if AOC becomes the franchise guy, okay. Minshew becomes the franchise guy, okay. I'm not gonna be like over here like, oh man, mad that they became the franchise quarterback for the Raiders. I'm gonna be like, hey, look, they've earned it, and that's what it is. I think. Raider Smake says takes a friendly contract and a top defense. You never know. Could be again a 2.0 resurrect his career and change the scenery. Are you talking about Minshew? I don't know if you're talking about Minshew. I'm trying to catch up in the chat, but we'll see, man. We'll see, man. I look, today's NFL, man. You're gonna need a certain type of quarterback. Defensively, to be honest with you, if you just think about maybe the last time a game manager won a Super Bowl, Russell Wilson.
And that's if you want to consider him a game manager. I really don't consider Russell Wilson a true game manager.
But I'm just saying, meaning that like, just think about how that team was constructed and how they won.
Yeah.
That team was led by their defense. Yeah. Hey, if you want to keep it real, beast mode.
Yeah.
Marshawn Lynch, the guy that should have got that carry at goal line, and they should have won back-to-back Super Bowls or at least 2 rings out of 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But as time went on, we kind of seen what Russell Wilson game was, and it was kind of like, oh, I see, it's a little one trick pony. Like it's no in between. You're a guy that likes to throw it deep, likes to play hero ball, and as he got older, his athletic ability, which was like he was athletic. He was a master at buying time. I'm not trying to hate on Russell Wilson. He had some game, but I'm just saying that was like the last time that a quote unquote game manager won a Super Bowl, I think, where like there are other parts of the team that were carrying the quarterback where he didn't necessarily have to be like Aaron Rodgers, what Aaron Rodgers was with the Packers, or Tom Brady to the Patriots, or Mahomes to the Chiefs. Russell Wilson didn't have to do that with the Seattle when they won Super Bowls. I think that's the last time I think a Super Bowl winning quarterback was a game manager and they won.
People will bring up Foles. I think that's probably the most logical place. But the thing about this, like, so the point I like to make about Foles that people say is, oh, he came in there, he won a Super Bowl. So okay, there you go, right there. So look at this. So we know what Carson Wentz is now as a player, right? Carson Wentz, that team was so good around Carson Wentz that Carson Wentz was an MVP candidate that year.
Yeah.
And what is Carson Wentz without that team? Nick Foles has done what without that Eagles team? And with that team, he was able to win a Super Bowl. So that just shows you how talented that team was and how good of a coach that Doug Peterson is. That says more about the team around them than it does about them as individual players, because both of those guys without that team, they've done nothing. So I put that more on the talent. Nick Foles had a great game. I think he ended up like being a Super Bowl MVP. I think he threw for like 300 some yards and 3 touchdowns. So he had a really good game that game.
So yeah, Brady was a game manager for the Patriots teams at times. I think, like I said, being a game manager, I think is part of the responsibility of being a quarterback. But also what made Brady so great was when it was time, that 2-minute drill came on. Like when it was time to make a big play, when it's time to make a big throw, when it was time to make the right play, Brady seemed to make the right plays at the right time. Like he's an all-time great, man. Like. Yeah. And he was a great pocket passer. He had great pocket presence. He wasn't mobile, but he moved around in that pocket. He knew how to manipulate that pocket and buy some time in that way. But Brady types of quarterbacks, those types of pocket passers, I think they're throwbacks, man. I think it's long gone. Yeah. Those types of quarterbacks, and that's a whole different conversation. Real Talk says. He says, Pharaoh, so you're saying last Chiefs game was a fluke? To be a champ, you got to beat the champ. Not saying AOC is the answer, but can our defense carry us if AOC plays above average ball? Yeah, it's a possibility. It's a possibility, but it's a possibility. But look, you're saying Chiefs. I didn't say it was a fluke, but I think, look, let's be honest. Divisional games can go either way.
Exactly.
It can go either way. Divisional games, they play twice a year. The teams are really familiar with each other because they play them twice a year, right? So they know exactly what's coming. They know it's going to be a high energy. You already know what type of game. It can go either way, right? I don't think it was a fluke, but at the same time, who won the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I will say this. I will say this. Because I am a Raider fan, I would not say it is a fluke. But I will say, when is the last time that the only offense or only touchdowns scored in a game were scored on back-to-back defensive possessions? The only points we scored, right? The only touchdowns we had came on the fumble recovery. I think was that Bilal Nichols that recovered the fumble in the end zone?
Was it Bilal Nichols?
I think it was Bilal Nichols that recovered that fumble.
Yeah.
And then the very next, and that was just a mishandle, because the Chiefs were trying to get cute. I just watched that game, matter of fact, like last week. I've been watching every game. So the Chiefs were trying to get cute. I think they actually like snapped the ball to their running back, to Pacheco, I want to say, and then they did like some like fake like handoff situation. They fumbled the ball. We picked it up, scored a touchdown. The Chiefs get the ball back, as we kick it off, their very first offensive play, they throw the out route to Jack Jones. He jumps it, touchdown. We didn't score another touchdown in that game. For 3 quarters, Aiden O'Connell did not complete a pass. So if you take out those 2 defensive touchdowns, what's the score of that game? So I don't want to say it's a fluke, but it's another Minnesota. You take out those 2 touchdowns, it's Minnesota again. So do I think he's the answer? I don't know. I haven't seen enough of him to say whether or not he is the answer. But I will say the guy's going to be 26 when the season starts. He was a 4th round pick for a reason. And the fact that he's even in the battle where Gardner Minshew, I mean, that says a lot right there.
I like how you said that, man.
What?
I like how you was like, I don't know, but he is a 4th round rookie.
I mean, like, no, dude's like I said, man, like he's 2 months older than Jordan Love, bro. Like he's 2 months. So
Jordan Love's a monster.
And age matters less at quarterback position because those guys play for such a long time. But like Aiden O'Connell's already very limited physically, and I don't see him getting he ain't gonna wake up and get more mobile, right? And part of mobility, people like to point to his 40 time. Like mobility is not about your 40 time. Like that's not what makes a mobile quarterback a good mobile quarterback, right? It's not about speed. It's about understanding. It's about instincts. It's about that willingness to take off. All of that stuff matters.
Yeah.
And Aiden O'Connell possesses none of those traits.
Right.
So he ran for negative. Like I said, he ran for negative yards at Purdue, even though he played there forever. He ran for negative yards last year, I want to say as well. So he's not a guy that's ever going to be a threat with his legs. And he's not a guy that has a crazy arm, right? He has like a C+, B- arm. He doesn't have the strongest arm. Where he separates himself is with his accuracy, but but he also struggles when he has pressure in his face. So he has a lot of things to overcome, and not a lot of time to do it. And he's on the clock because as long as Davante Adams is here, this team is in win now mode. And if he doesn't prove that he can win now, I think they're going to look elsewhere.
Yeah, man, and I agree, man, because you made a good point about it's about what makes a quarterback mobile. It has nothing to do with the 40 time because
Anthony Brown,
Anthony Brown, man, hey, that's just Hail Mary right there. But I want to automatically what I think of Derek Carr. I mean, Derek Carr ran a pretty solid 40. He actually ran a faster 40 than Patrick Mahomes, but completely different games when it comes to how they play that quarterback position. And if you watch Derek Carr, you would think that he ran like the slowest 40 time in the NFL because he never really wanted to run and use whatever speed that he had, and some of that has to do with maybe he wasn't quick. Patrick Mahomes, he had quick, but he had good instincts too. So, and it's not, and I'm using Patrick Mahomes because we're all familiar with him because we play him twice a year. But there's so many other quarterbacks that just they have that ability to buy some time, and even guys it don't have to be Patrick Mahomes. It could be other quarterbacks as well that know how to buy some time. But yeah, man. Hey, look. Yeah, let's wrap it up, man. I know we kind of went longer than expected, but I wanted to get into this last notable quotable and we'll wrap it up. But the other day, and man, Davante Adams has been on a media tour, and I think he's been taking advantage of kind of airing out his thoughts, but also kind of like covering it up by, I'm promoting, my documentary that I'm kind of in, but I'm not the only star in, you know what I mean? He's been promoting.
I only see him doing interviews though. I don't see these other cats doing interviews like that.
That's
true. Davante everywhere.
That's why I said he's kind of covering it up because it's like, man, not everybody's really doing it. Maybe we're paying attention to Davante Adams a little bit more compared to everybody else because he plays for the Raiders. But he was on a huge platform with Shannon Sharp, who's built up his podcast. Shout out to him, man. He's doing his thing. Club Shay was he always has pretty good interviews, and he had Davante Adams out there, and Davante. Let me go ahead and play this clip. He was talking about. See if I can play it real quick. Let's see. Oh yeah, you know what? Let me just do it how I did it earlier. And so Davante was talking about his top receivers and NBA players. I feel like we always have this conversation, I feel like. But this one, he kind of said he had an interesting top 5 in both respective sports. So I'm going to go ahead and share this real quick. Let's see. And let me know if y'all could hear it.
Give me your Mount Rushmore basketball. Give me your Mount Rushmore football.
You hear it?
Wideouts football or players?
We can do. I'm gonna ask you your top 5 wideouts. You can do all time and you can do current. But I want you to give me your Mount Rushmore NBA players, Mount Rushmore NFL players.
Okay.
Always, four heads.
Who I think is the greatest or my favorite NBA?
Give me your Mount however you want to list it.
Okay. Obviously MJ at the top. I'll probably go Bron second. Kobe. For me, my favorite basketball player growing up was Allen Iverson.
Okay.
So and that's where I get the shake from and what I brought over to the football world as well. So for me, AI is gonna be probably 4th, and 5th. I could throw in my other favorite, which is probably gonna shock a lot of people. Well, it shouldn't, but if you know me and the way that I play basketball, Darren Williams was one of my favorite basketball players.
Oh, Utah.
So that's the guys that I like the most. If I had to do the greatest, it would maybe just probably swap out the 5th and
got Magic, Bird, Giannis, KD, Shaq.
Yeah, I'll probably have to say I was going back and forth. I was going back and forth. See, and forgive me on the outside world if y'all don't feel the same way, but I never have felt obligated to throw in old greats just because they were founding fathers.
Okay.
I truly think that you got to put the best basketball players, and if I feel that this guy is better than Magic or better than, and I'm not saying specifically him, but whoever, I'm gonna say who I feel like I like the most.
Okay.
So I didn't watch Kareem the way that maybe you watch Kareem. So I'm not gonna put Kareem in there.
Okay.
He's by far one of the best of all time. And that's, the numbers say it, the legend, all of that. But if I'm picking for me, I would probably say Shaq over Kareem for me.
Not gonna get much argument from that. Okay, give me a Mount Rushmore wide receivers.
Randy, Jerry, Calvin, T.O., and probably Marvin.
You only get 4?
I thought you said top 5. You said Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore wide receiver.
Top 5.
I'm gonna let you have top. Okay. I'm gonna let you have top 5 wide receivers. So your top 5 wide receivers all time is Randy, Jerry, T.O., Megatron,
Calvin 3rd,
T.O. 4th, and Marvin Harrison 5th.
Yep, that's where I'm at with my top 5, and I guess we're gonna put Marvin on the bench if it's just a Rushmore.
So Marvin got to come in if somebody get nicked.
Hey man, I think he'll understand what I'm getting at. I love the fact that I'm saying.
Hold on, he said Marvin Harrison.
Yeah.
Damn, yeah, Marvin Harrison. Nice. That was a good one. Who did he bump out of? I'm tripping. Who did he bump out of for Marvin? For that 5th spot.
He didn't bump anybody. That was just Mount Rushmore. It was only 4.
Okay.
Rushmore.
So he had. Okay, so let's stop it right there.
Let's stop it right there.
Yeah.
This fool Davante. If I ever see Davante, bro, I'm like, somebody should have drug tested this fool immediately. Like what? Oh,
he was biased. Dog. He's definitely biased. He definitely was biased.
Come on, dog.
He named his favorite players. He named his favorite players.
Yeah, his NBA list is trash, bro. Like his NBA list, bro. That's why you in the NFL, dog. Stick to.
Wait. So hold on. What's your top 5 NBA player for you?
Top 5
for you.
So my list is just like you talking about just greatest of all time, or just like my top 5 favorite. That's a different list.
Let's go all time.
All time. So my list is different. Because I'm what they call a Jordan hater. So so my number 1 greatest player of all time is Wilt Chamberlain. My number 2 is Kareem. My number 3, I throw Jordan. Number 4, I put LeBron, and then I gotta put. It's tough between Magic and Kobe. I gotta go Magic.
Oh man.
Magic.
See, look, hey, come on, man. Like this is why it's tough, man. The sports is always gonna be. There's always gonna be that barbershop argument about who's the greatest, because there's different generations and who they grew up watching, and at the same time, the game is getting so much better. Like if you watch basketball now, like they got so many different moves I ain't never seen before. You know what I mean? They got like step back, round, like they got crazy moves. Just look at 80s basketball and could just compare it to early 2000s and or even to now. You know what I mean? Just fast forward now, like it crazy difference. Now that being said, there are certain players that transcend that. I get it, but it's hard for me to put players on my top 5 of greatest players all time because I didn't get to see him play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Come on, Wilt Chamberlain, bro. Come on, man.
Hey, look. That's what YouTube is for, bro.
You didn't put Shaq in your top 5? Did you put Shaq in your top 5?
Wilt Chamberlain? I put Wilt Chamberlain is better than Shaq, bro. Like put like this. Wilt Chamberlain was so great. That they put in rules to stop Wilt Chamberlain. They expanded the lane to stop Wilt Chamberlain. They made 3 seconds in the key to like specific. Like they were like, it was like not even like they trying to hide it. They're like, yeah, we're putting these rules in because Wilt Chamberlain is too good. Like literally, this is things they said. Like we put these rules in to stop Wilt Chamberlain. Like that's what they did. So like he literally changed the NBA. He was so good. Like they I think like Wilt Chamberlain said it best, right? Wilt Chamberlain said it best. They asked him about him and Jordan, or I think him and Jordan get into an argument about who was the greatest of all time. And Wilt Chamberlain said straight up, yo, like when I was dominating, they put rules in to slow me down. When you were dominating, they put rules in to help you elevate. And that was the difference.
I think it was a different game back then too. You know, the level of competition, how many teams were in the NBA, the how many talented the players are way more talented, way more athletic.
No, but nah, bro. Like, but how Wilt Chamberlain put Wilt Chamberlain in the league now? He's the most athletic center by not even close. Wilt Chamberlain was a high jump champion in college. He ran like a 4.6. He benched like 400 pounds. Like Wilt, like he was on the set of Conan with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger is like, he's probably one of the strongest men I've ever seen in my life. Arnold Schwarzenegger, like bodybuilder Arnold Schwarzenegger. So Wilt Chamberlain was a freak. You put him in NBA now, Wilt Chamberlain dominates now in today's NBA. He was an athletic freak. And people talking about talent, the thing about the people don't realize is that there were so few teams that the talent was more concentrated. So it's not like, so imagine taking like, instead of all the NBA teams you have right now, all these, what is it 32 NBA teams, right? You take the best players from those teams and you put them on these other teams. So it's not like all this talent is spread across these other teams. They're all concentrated on these select few teams. And that's what it was back then. And the average height was only like, people talk about, oh, these guys were short. The average height of an NBA player back then, I think, is like an inch shorter than the average height of an NBA player now. So that you could throw that excuse out the window as well. It's nonsense. So, I mean, people make all these excuses. They just don't study.
Yeah. At the end of the day, look. At the end of the day, it's hard for me to take. Like I understand you make valid points and you looked into the certain player, but it's hard for me to take what you're saying and put any I want to say like any value to it, but if it was someone in the chat right now and they grew up watching Wilt Chamberlain, I would be like, okay, I get that. I'm gonna go off who I grew up watching, who I respect. Like, I'm just gonna go off that. And also, you have to understand, with modern day technology, the way they take care of the players nowadays, the players are way more athletic, way more skilled. It's just there's way more information for some of these players to get better. I'm gonna go with my top 5, right? And it's gonna be prototypical, but also it's gonna be a little bit of like, all right, y'all gonna be like, you know what, you're kind of being biased here, but I don't care. I'm going top 5. I'm gonna go Michael Jordan, number 1. Number 2, like, I can't put LeBron in there. Do we have to do it in any order? Are we doing any order?
Yeah, don't gotta be no order.
All right, I'm gonna have Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, Shaq, Tim Duncan, honorable mention, Akeem Olajuwon. Those are my.
So you don't got Magic.
Magic's up there too.
You don't got Magic up there.
Hey man, I'm sorry man, I can't take him.
I got Magic up there.
I don't got him. I don't got Magic over LeBron. I think LeBron is a better player all time.
You don't got Magic.
I think Jordan is better. I think LeBron is better. You can argue with Kobe. I grew up a Kobe fan. I think Kobe is an all-time great. So there's a little bit of bias there. I'm letting y'all know right now, but I think Kobe's top 5 player that I've ever seen. I've never seen Wilt Chamberlain play. How can I say this guy's top 5 if I've never seen him in front of my play? You watch games. How could you not? You got to watch games. You can't just say someone is the greatest of all time.
Just look at the numbers, bro. All you got to do is
just look at the numbers. Are you serious?
Listen to what other people say about him. Listen to what other people say about Wilt Chamberlain as a player. Like, matter of fact, people want to talk about Wilt Chamberlain in size. Look at when Shaq was in his second year, I want to say, and him and Wilt Chamberlain met and shook hands. Look how big Wilt Chamberlain is at that time. Wilt Chamberlain been out the league like man, how many years? Over 15 years at that point. Look at when they meet. Look how much stronger and bigger, more physically fit Wilt Chamberlain looks than Shaq when Shaq was in his prime, like at that time. So I'm not even saying Wilt in his prime when he was that dude. Wilt, old man Wilt, out the league Wilt. Look how when he shakes Shaq's hand, shakes his whole damn body. Like Wilt was a freak. And people will say, oh, the guys back there weren't as athletic. Well, that's what makes him such a freak. In that time when there weren't the advances in sports nutrition that there is now, he was that big of a freak back then. Imagine if you put Wilt Chamberlain in today's game with the type of sports nutrition there is nowadays. He would destroy the league.
Yeah, no, look. It's just I kind of look at it from that perspective, man. If I seen you play, I watched your games, and I could soak all that in as far as like, all right, I understand how you dominate. I can understand the impact of how you played and you affected your team, your teammates, how much you made people better around you. Like what parts of the game did you impact? Defense, all. I can see that. I can watch games. I don't have a lot of that with Wilt Chamberlain. There's not a lot of footage, and hey, I get it. I get what you're saying, but that's what I'm basing off. Tim Duncan, for him to just small market team, San Antonio Spurs, he was the constant. He was the guy that was the constant, a great player that were winning championship with the Spurs. Being a Laker fan growing up, I hated Spurs, but it was led by Tim Duncan, Greg Popovich. And then you got all these role players, and you got the Manu Ginobili's and Tony Parkers and whatnot. But Tim Duncan was that guy, man. He doesn't get enough credit. Not the most exciting player to watch, Mr. Fundamental, whatever the case may be. He had that little bank shot that he always used to do. But all-time great player. He finished with 4 championships? I think he
5. Same amount as Kobe. Yeah, 5.
It was like four or five championships.
Yeah, 5.
LeBron, the longevity. Some people in the chat over here saying that, steroids this. I don't know if there's any truth to that, man. The guy, hey, look, he spent I forgot. I don't know how true this is, but he spent like over $1 million on taking care of his body every year. LeBron doesn't get enough credit of just being being dedicated to basketball. Like, that's the one thing that you got to give him credit for, because as talented as he is, for him to play 20 plus years in the NBA is crazy. Now, am I a LeBron guy? I'm more of the MJ mode. I like the killers in the court. LeBron is kind of more of that, pass first, make everybody, he's, and I don't want to give him that because he's kind of like, I seen the other day he had a little game winner for USA too. So I don't know if y'all
have a game. I want to say he probably has more career game winners than Jordan.
I think he, when he came into the league, it just never left him, because he was passing the ball off in late game situations, and then for some reason his reputation was like, LeBron is during clutch moments and then the finals against the Mavericks, it was terrible. I ain't gonna lie, like he was choking.
He had a horrible series.
Even against the Spurs, if you remember that Spurs game when Ray Allen saved LeBron's legacy. If you remember that game.
But John Paxson saved Jordan's legacy. Steve Kerr saved Jordan's legacy. Pippen had some crazy. Pippen saved Jordan against the Lakers, because if they don't put Pippen on Magic Johnson cooked the Bulls game 1. When Magic Johnson had Vlade Divac and and a bunch of bums and an old James Worthy, and James Worthy got hurt that series. Byron Scott got hurt that series. The difference in that series was Magic Johnson cooked them game 1. Game 2, they said, we're not going to let Jordan defend you no more. We're going to put Pippen on you. And then that's how the Bulls won that series. But if not for that, and Byron Scott and James Worthy getting hurt, who knows what happens in that series. And the Lakers maintain they win that series if not for that.
Right. Yeah, man. So that's my top 5 is guys that I grew up watching. And I'm sure everybody's going to have their top 5, because it's going to be people that they grew up watching and they can actually speak. I'm just saying, like, when you can watch a player's impact on the court and watch it live and see it in playoff games, big games, it's different. It's different to say, like, all right, well, I seen, and I understand where you're coming from, like, but it's hard for me to just talk about a player and just like, all right, well, like Larry Bird, for example, he's an all-time great. But
definitely.
You know what I mean? Magic Johnson. So is Larry Bird in your top 10?
Top 10, yeah.
Because I know you had Magic number 5. So where's Kobe on your list?
Kobe right there. Kobe's right there. It's hard not to put Kobe in the top 5. But
when you hear some of the basketball experts, they talk about all-time greats, they have Kobe there's some that have him outside the top 10. I'm like, damn,
because
man.
Kobe only. But that's the same thing with Shaq. Kobe and they each only won 1 MVP. So it's like, they look at stuff like that. But just pure basketball, just pure basketball ability. That's why part of it I take out some of this stuff. I look at just basketball players in the vacuum. What were they as players? Because some of that stuff has something to do with your team, right? Wilt Chamberlain for a while, people talk about him constantly losing, but he was losing to better teams. I think they lost the one series to the Knicks where they should have won, where it's that famous moment where their center got hurt and then he comes out and he cheers everybody up. Willis Reed, when Willis Reed was hurt. So that's maybe the one series they should have won that they didn't win. But just Wilt Chamberlain in the vacuum, he's the most dominant player in the history of the league, and it's not really that close.
Yeah, and he didn't win a lot of championships compared to the other all-time greats. But yes, everybody has their little weakness or whatever. But it is what it is. It's an argument. I don't even get into the argument of who's the top, because it's hella it's all opinion based. At the end, it's who you kind of like or whatever. At the end of the day, people are gonna make arguments with it, but it's basically who they think that should be all because there's so many players that played in the league. Like, come on, bro. Like, especially in the NBA, like it's crazy. But Raider Smoke in the building, man. Hey, man, appreciate you watching, man, and supporting the show, man. Hey, look, leading by example right here, man. He says his greatest all-time, MJ, all-time, Kobe, LBJ, Tim Duncan, Wilt, number 5. Honorable mention. Brian's got, oh, you trolling at this point. You trolling at this point, man.
The red Mamba.
Hey, but I'm not going to lie. Like, underrated, no one really talks about too much. Akeem Olajuwon, man.
Akeem is a dog, bro. Akeem was a monster.
And Akeem used to destroy Shaq, too.
Akeem destroyed everybody, bro. You see what he did to David Robinson? Like, he destroyed everybody. Like, he wasn't no joke, bro.
But he doesn't get as much love. People kind of forget about him. He's kind of like, he's, for me, he's at least, very least top 10. And I can understand why some people would have top 10. Some people put him, a lot of people put him outside of the top 10. But you know, hey, we could talk about basketball all day and every day. But let's get into the second half of this, and then we'll wrap it up, man. This has been, man. Hey, this is a training camp NFL sports edition of the show.
We're gonna be at training camp practice by the time.
But look, so he had it. Look, Davante, pretty much. We just seen Davante. Y'all just joining us, man. Davante was talking about his top 5 NBA players, and he also talked about his top 5 receivers, Mount Rushmore. And he said that in his Mount Rushmore, it was Randy, Jerry Rice, he had T.O., and then what was the 4th receiver that he had? Calvin Johnson.
He had Calvin Johnson 3rd.
And he had, was he doing in order, or was it just?
He did in order, yeah.
He had Randy number 1. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So he had Randy number 1, Jerry number 2, number 3 he had Calvin, number 4 he had T.O., and I know why you pointing that out because last week we had this little, and then and he had number 5 Marvin Harrison. Yeah. Marvin Harrison was one of my favorite receivers growing up. So that was a good one. Top 5, I don't know, but I'm putting Jerry number 1, man. Jerry
number 1 too.
Jerry, I respect the longevity, the fact that when he came to the Raiders, man, he came to Raiders at what, like 30, late 30s for sure. And he still was putting up 89 catches over
like mid 30s, something like that.
Mid 30s, okay, yeah. I mean, automatically, people don't want to admit this. He was the best receiver on the team. He became the best receiver on the team. Like he was like instantly just came on. It was kind of like a LeBron D Wade moment with Tim Brown on the team or whatever, because that was Tim Brown's team at the end of the day. Tim Brown was still a good receiver. Much respect to him, all time great. But like Jerry Rice came on the team, and it was Jerry Rice. Like Rich Gannon was like looking for Jerry. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. But who would you say? Okay, your top 5.
So I mean, Jerry's number 1, bro. Like, it's not even fair to even continue to put Jerry. Like, Jerry shouldn't even be in the conversation. Like, generally, what they should do is be like, look, top 5 wide receivers outside of Jerry Rice, because he's clearly like number 1. He's like in a league of his own. So he's clearly number 1. I will agree. I got Randy Moss as number 2. I will agree. I have Kevin Johnson as number 3. I have T.O. at number 4. Number 5, man, I want to put Tim Brown in there, just because I think if Tim Brown had better quarterback play, he would have crazier numbers. But I'm gonna probably go Larry Fitzgerald number 5. I want to go Tim Brown though. I really want to go Tim Brown, but I'm gonna go Larry Fitzgererald.
I thought you was gonna go Antonio Brown for some reason. I thought you was gonna go.
Oh nah. He's a that fool is a psycho. He should be up there, bro. That's the thing. He should be up there.
The way his career was trending for sure. Yeah.
Can't do it.
See, the thing about Moss, I don't like about Moss, he didn't like to go over the middle.
Yeah.
He didn't like to go over the middle. So I kind of like, that was like a big ding. Like, I don't know if you get physical with him. I don't know if it felt like you could take him out the game. T.O. on the other hand, his hands wasn't as strong as the other top receivers. But when the ball was in his hands, I felt like no one could guard him. Like I seen I seen him destroy Charles Woodson. I seen him destroy Champ Bailey. Like these are all-time great corners, right? So I think T.O., man, it's tough. So I've definitely got Jerry. Definitely got Jerry. Number 2, man, I can't put Randy. I ain't gonna lie. I got T.O., man. I ain't gonna lie. T.O. is just, I seen him like just dominant. I hated the Niners and the way he destroyed the Raiders and just watching him across the bay, following his whole career. Cowboys, didn't matter what team he played for, dominated. Even with the Bengals, when he was 38 years old, 37, still literally 50 yards short of. I remember I was following it. I'm like, man, this dude's he had like that Jerry Rice trajectory. Like he took care of his body. So I got T.O.
You see him now? You see him recently? Bro, he was working out at UCLA. I think he was out there with some dudes running the routes. He's still in crazy shape. Bro. Still in crazy shape.
Yeah. And he ran a 40 against Tyreek Hill like a few years back, and like he beat him the first time, but he gave him a little bit of like a head start or whatever, and then they ran it again because Hill thought he was gonna win or whatever. Yeah. And then but the second time around, like, Hill he won it, but still it wasn't like he blew him out the water. It was like, damn, like this dude T.O.'s a freak, bro. Like he great athlete. But I'll say, look, number 1, Jerry, T.O. 3, I'll put Calvin. 4, Randy. 5. Oh man, 5. 5 is gonna be tough, man. I'm gonna do it. This is for the Raiders, man. Tim Brown, man. I'm gonna give Tim Brown. Show him some love, man. I'm gonna get. It's a Raiders show at the end of the day. I'm gonna give Tim Brown number 5. My
all-time favorite Raider, man. It was hard not putting him in there. It was hard
all-time great.
Him in there, man.
We got to put a Raider in that top 5, man. We got to put a Raider in the top 5, man. So yeah, like, hey, look, you can't go wrong with the list, man. I think there's so many receivers that we're not even talking about. You said Larry Fitzgerald. Damn, I thought what's his name was going to have a way better career, but it just kind of ended in a weird way. Or not, I want to say ended. He's probably still playing, but old boy that used to play for Atlanta, wide receiver. Remember he came out of Alabama?
Oh, that was my man's name. Dang, Jones.
Julio Jones. You know what I mean?
Jones.
But it just
Julio Jones. Julio Jones was a freak too, bro.
Andre Johnson. Andre Johnson
is another one.
Yeah. I don't know if I would put an all-time, but it just sucks because he never really played with good quarterbacks, but he was still, like, putting out.
He was a dog. Yeah, he was a dog. And he was consistent as hell. DeAndre Hopkins kind of was a flash, and he kind of disappeared.
I like Steve Smith. Steve Smith was a monster.
Steve Smith Sr., man. Steve Smith Sr. is a dog, too.
Monster. Chad Johnson was good, too, as well, but I felt like, see, some of these guys that we're mentioning, like right now, is like their prime was pretty short. Like it didn't feel like it was pretty long. Like you notice, like the guys in the top 5, like it was like as long as they played in the league, they were dominating. So that's what I'm looking at. Like Marvin Harrison, you could put up there, man. He's an all-time great for sure. All-time great for sure, man. But yeah, hey man, the show went longer than what we expected. Man. We appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in at this point, clock out, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, all that good stuff. We are going live on both our channels. Raider Smoke, man, my guy, man, appreciate you, man. You supporting the show, man.
Sure.
Or Chris Carter as my number 5 receiver. I ain't mad at you.
That's a good name. That's
great hands. Great hands.
Great, man.
Great
some
hands.
of the best catches ever.
Yeah. Great all-time great hands. You know who was good, but he was not like an all-time great or anything like that. You know what I like, but I liked him as a receiver. Played for Miami, Chambers. You remember Chambers?
Oh yeah.
Chris Chambers. He's not all-time great or anything like that, but Chris Chambers, Eric Moulds.
Chris Chambers was good.
Forgotten receivers.
There's a lot of good receivers, man. Chris Chambers, man. Eric Peerless Price.
Peerless Price.
What's old boy that used to play for the Saints?
Joe Horn. We talk about Joe
No,
Horn, right?
not Joe Horn. Other dude, light skinned
Oh,
dude. I think went to Hofstra.
Colston? Oh, not Colston.
Yeah. I think maybe Marcus Colston.
Colston. He was slow though. He's like a big.
Marcus
Like he was like he was cool.
He was a big possession
cool.
receiver.
Big possession receiver. He was at like that big slot before the big slot. Like, you know what I mean? Like he was just big target.
Marcus Colston was cold though. He was killing.
He was killing, but I can't compare him to. I couldn't compare him to
AJ Green. AJ Green's another one. Was a dog.
Oh, you know what? Before we head out, look. This is a good one right here. This is a good one. What's real, what's not? We forgot to do it. We weren't even going to plan on doing it, but what's real, what's not is we say a statement, you let us know if it's real or not. Oh no, but you got to actually set yourself NBA. But you got to say the statement though. It got to be
take off just take off the second part. No, that's the statement right there. That's the statement right there.
So you're saying NBA players can play in the NFL? Is that the
more
statement?
can play? More NBA players can play in the NFL. So that's what's real. What's not? Right?
More NFL players can play in the NFL than NFL players can play in the NBA. Okay.
Yep.
So that's the statement. More NBA players can play in the NFL than. And this was a big sports topic, by the way.
Yeah.
Because it started, I think it started because Doc Rivers boys, Austin Rivers said like, oh man, like.
But it's been the topic before though.
Yeah. So the statement is, look, what's real, what's not. Let us know if it's real or not. More NBA players can play in the NFL than NFL players can play in the NBA. I think athletically, I think the NBA players can play in the NFL, but toughness-wise, no. I think it's just gonna be a select few, and I think it's true. It's true for different reasons for the NBA. I think NFL players athletically, some of the players can play, but I don't think they're gonna be as skillful and just I don't know, man. I don't think more NBA players can play in the NFL just because of the tough, like getting hit. Like I don't think NBA players want to get hit, bro.
People overestimate that.
I think
right?
That's
like and it's not to say that the hits in the NFL aren't big hits, but it's when that's part of your sport, like when that's what you know is to be expected. All that's toughness. Exactly. Nah, bro. Like put it like this. That when was the last time that you saw a guy play college football and scouts from the NBA were like, yo, we've never seen you play basketball. We want you to play in the NBA. Like that happens all the time with college football players. Mm-hmm. Or college basketball players, rather, right? They're all the time. They're like, you know what? We've never seen you play football. We have no idea where you can play football, but your athletic profile says you can play football. We want you to come try out. They just did it last year with the dude that was in Elite 8, the big man. I forget his name. They just were saying like, yo, this dude, he could be an offensive line prospect. The teams were saying, come try out for us. That's never, ever, ever happened. Vice versa.
Yeah.
Like I think was it? I mean, I hate to bring these guys up, but I think not Travis, because Jason Kelce, I want to say said it best. Where's it, Jason Kelce? I want to say like look, if NFL players could play basketball, they would be playing basketball because the contracts are generally more money and they're guaranteed.
See, the thing is, you're going with the skill, and I agree with that. I think we all grew up playing, you know, sports back in the day, and football, basketball. And you could always tell when a football player is playing basketball. It takes skill to play basketball. It's not just being an athlete. Like it takes a certain amount of skill. So you're saying the skill level, it doesn't. It's going to be harder for an NFL player to translate in the NBA game compared to it. My argument is more so I think you're right, and I think I'm right in that, like, NBA players. There's only a certain level of NBA players that's crazy enough to play football. Like when I say crazy, I mean like the toughness. Like I don't think there's a lot of NBA players that want to get hit. A lot of
but that's the people. So what people don't understand, well, most people don't consider is that most of these guys that are playing basketball right now, they grew up playing football. They were like multi-sport athletes, and they chose basketball because there's more lucrative contracts. Contracts are guaranteed. Like if Davante could be in the NBA. Like I know Davante talks all this stuff about basketball. Davante would be in the NBA. Davante would be playing in the NBA. I think he even said like on I Am Athlete, he's like, man, if I was a few inches taller, I'd be in the league. Like that's just but like you not only do you have to have a certain height, but there's this certain skill set you have to have as a basketball player. Like they talk about dribbling, shooting, like all this stuff. The skill set translates more easily from basketball to football than the other way around. But just because in basketball you still have to have good feet, you still have to be able to shift your weight. Like you talk about like Tony Gonzalez talking about hey like catching the ball is like going up for a rebound, right? So so those skills translate.
It's a plus. It's a plus
exactly.
for an NFL player to have a basketball background, but I'm not sure if it's a plus for a basketball player to have an NFL background. Like I don't think it matters. I don't think it's like he played NFL
no,
he
they
played
don't care.
football.
I mean, what they'll say is like like they'll say he's a tough. He has a certain level of toughness. That's what they'll say. Like he's a tough guy. He'll be willing to bang. But I think people overestimate like he's not going to want to get hit. Like if you're playing wide receiver, like how often like you're not taking a whole bunch of hits a game. Not like you like just running out there and just having these crazy collisions all the time, right? You get hit, like every time you catch the ball. If you get like 4 or 5 catches a game, you get tackled 4 or 5 times. Like a lot of times these dudes run out of bounds too. So you might not even get tackled 4 or 5 times. So I think I don't want to underestimate the toughness of the NFL because that's a very tough sport. These dudes are like messing their hands up, messing their feet up, getting scratched up. It's tough. I've played both sports, so I understand how physical it is. But I definitely think that once you understand that this is the way of life, so that's what another thing. People are like, you can't play it because like once you understand like this is what it is. Like all those fears, like they go away because like this is just the environment I'm in. Like this is like this. I'm a football player now. Like this is part of the game.
I think there's only a select few that can do both for different reasons, bro. And I agree with you. There's a certain skill set you gotta have.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you can just take. You can't take any NBA player, but I think way more NBA players can go over it than vice versa.
It's tough to say, but I just think that, man, I'm telling you, bro, there's a lot of people. Not only you gotta say NBA player, just people that play basketball. They don't want to get hit, bro. They don't want to get hit, man. They don't want to play. Like there's only a select few like play LeBron. Like for example, like all right, when you think of NBA players that would translate in football, just based off like their game, like LeBron, I could see him play football. He played football. He played football. Like he literally talks about how like he would have played.
Yeah. He was all-state football player. In Ohio, which is like like if you're an all-state football player, like it means you could have gone to Ohio State on a football scholarship if you wanted to. I want to say like he had offers,
but like Durant, come on, man.
Yeah, but it's like but come on, like it's like come on. He chose he's like what about Muggsy Bogues? Is Muggsy Bogues like is Albert Hainsworth playing NBA? Is playing in the big? It's like come on, but like guys like a guy like Russ could definitely play. Russ could definitely play football. I think there's a few guys. Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards could play. I think he could play football if he really wanted to. Like there's a few guys. Like there's a few guys. I think there's more, and I'm not saying that it's not an easy transition. I'm not saying like you just drop them in the NFL and they're good. But I'm just saying there are more guys in the NBA that can make that transition than there are guys in the NFL. There's maybe like two guys, like 2-3 guys in the NFL, if that. But that not even that, because like I said, if these guys could play in the NBA, they'd be playing in the NBA. This is just, it's less wear and tear on your body, more money, guaranteed contract.
That's true. That's true, because I'm not gonna lie, it's a better business decision.
Players Union is way stronger in the NBA than it is in the NFL.
Guaranteed contracts, millions and millions of like. Do you see how much role players that are gonna play on the bench? How much they get paid? They get paid like starting Pro Bowl players in the NFL, if not more. Like, it's crazy. Like, last time I checked, it was like, man, like role players are getting like $20 million a year at least. Yeah,
a lot of some guys,
which is crazy. So, that's a good point. I think that, like, if they had to choose, but then some people they love play. They love the game, so like they want to play the sport that they love to play. You know what I mean? Especially if you're a quarterback. You're a quarterback. I don't know.
You're a quarterback. You good. Quarterback, you good.
If I play, you know what I mean. If someone's you're good. You know what I mean. Like I'm playing.
That's Charlie Ward. I think that was like the last guy who I think. No, but he didn't. But that's like the last. But that not even then though, because Charlie Ward won the Heisman, and then he went elected to play basketball. That's what I'm saying. Like if he could have he probably could have went to the league, but
Real Talk is saying you could probably count on one hand how many could transfer over and be okay in the other
NBA,
sport.
You can probably count two, maybe 3 hands. NBA, NFL, like one hand, like less than one hand. NBA, you can probably get more than that. You can probably get more than that. You can probably get at least 2 hands. At least 2 hands. Like Giannis at tight end. Come on, dog. Julius Randle at tight end. LeBron at tight end. Russell Westbrook at corner.
Nate Robinson. He played. Didn't he play corner for Washington?
He played for the Huskies. Yep.
Yeah, he played.
He was a starter. He was a starter.
Yeah. But he played corner. Super athletic. And guess what? We see him in the NBA.
Exactly. And
you're super athletic. And he was a good bench player. Obviously, being his size, like if that athleticism drops like just a little bit, like it's gonna be tough going. Because being 6 foot in the NBA is like you're short, bro. Like you 6'1", 6'2", you're short in the NBA. That's
exactly like he's like you 6'2" in the NFL. Like, bro, you a 6'2" corner with that kind of bounce. Bro,
no, but Nate Robinson wasn't 6'1" or 6 foot or 6'2". He was like 5.
He was short.
5'9". He was 5'9", 5'8", 5'9".
Yeah,
Amik Robinson.
But think about it like this though. Like think about a guy like Russell Westbrook, right? Russell Westbrook is like what 6'5", and in the NBA he's like on the smaller side, right? You're a guard. At the end, like in the NFL,
Westbrook is 6'5".
Yeah, he's like 6'5". Yeah.
Hold
6'4", 6'5".
Westbrook is 6'5". What?
Yeah, I want to say 6'4", 6'4", maybe 6'4".
I think he might be like 6'3". Westbrook is. Damn, Russell Westbrook. That got to be like a documentary on him. Like, how are you that like talented, but to get traded to all these? Let me see. How tall is Russell Westbrook? Oh, he's 6'4". Damn. Okay.
6'4".
Like
okay, so there you go.
He like
okay.
D Wade height. He D Wade.
So imagine Russell Westbrook, right? With his athleticism. Like in the end, probably one of the fastest players of all time. Crazy bounce, physically strong. Like he's built like a corner. He's 6'4", 200 pounds. So you probably have to put on like 10 pounds of muscle. Like, then you got that guy with that kind of athleticism and that speed at corner. Well, he's like, and with that agility as well. It's not like he's like some dude that can't move. Like he's a dude that can move. Like he's probably an elite corner, and he's got that grew up playing football. He played running back, but that's neither here nor there.
But that is kind of funny though. Like having a basketball background is like, oh man, he has a basketball. That's part of like people's he has a basketball background. Like especially if they play receiver or tight end, like that's something that they always kind of bring up, especially because that they feel like that skill set kind of translates in the NFL. But like, I don't think they do that with the NBA. Like they're like, oh, he played he played football. Like, oh,
exactly.
Maybe they do. Maybe they do. I might be wrong, man. I just don't
never
hear
heard
it.
of it.
Yeah, I never really heard it like that. But Real Talk says Westbrook would get eaten up by wide receivers. Don't do that. Man, so Real Talk.
I mean, he has to learn technique, man. This they can't just like I said. He has to learn technique. But like he already has crazy long arms. He's fast. He has bounce. Like he has good hips. Like he has all the ingredients right there. He has to learn technique, of course. He has to learn like everybody's to learn technique. But it's a lot easier to learn that technique than it is to learn to dribble and crossover and
Yeah, man. But hey, man, it's been a great show. This show went overtime, man. Literally, we don't really do long shows like this. But hey, look, we're excited about training camp being here. There was a lot to talk about. We got into all the top fives. Davante started it. I'm just gonna let y'all know he started the top 5, and we had to continue it and talk about it. Some pretty good flags on a play. Shout out to Smoke for bringing the coward clip earlier, and we were able to talk about that, man. And the night crew, man, y'all kept it going, man. Y'all the conversation. We appreciate y'all keeping the conversation
Still
going.
Still over 100 in the room too, man.
Man, we appreciate everybody coming through and showing love, man. Hey, look, at the end of the day, man, we can't really do this without y'all. So make sure to clock in, clock out at this point, man. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, all that good stuff, man. We are going live on both our channels. So if you haven't subscribed to any of our channels, make sure to do so. If you haven't liked both our videos on both channels, make sure to do so, man. Man, we appreciate everybody coming through. Severe, let the people know where they can find you, all that good stuff, what to look forward to, all that good stuff.
I mean, you guys know what time it is. It's the Severe Raider everywhere. The Severe Raider on IG, Snapchat, X, TikTok, all that good stuff, man. Got some stuff coming out soon. Y'all see that y'all peeped the thumbnail, working with some new technology. So yeah, man, holla at your boy, man. Just be on the lookout. Be on the lookout for some stuff, man. You know what time it is.
Yeah, man. It might be the red hat, man. I think it might have been the red hat. Real talk, man. Real talk. We're gonna have you on here soon, man. 50-50 early morning show. Yeah, might as well, man. Might as well, right?
No, man.
Dale Kim late show. Yeah, man. Y'all already know, man. Best show out here on the late night, man. We appreciate everybody coming through. Mark, my guy, man. We appreciate it, man. We appreciate everybody coming through. Look, hey, we are here every Monday nights. This is when we come on, man. Every Monday nights, just hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when we go live. But every Monday nights, we do the 50-50 show, so be on the lookout for that. Around the Shield will be returning soon. So Around the Shield with me, Severe, and Big Mike. Just be on the lookout for later this week. Just pay attention to our social media. So if you guys are not following us on IG or on Twitter, all that good stuff, also social media, you'll find us, The Severe Raider, obviously myself, PharoahNFL, and the notification bell. I'm serious when I say the notification bell, it really helps. Like when we tell you, like when we drop new stuff, it's gonna let you know when we drop a new show, new anything. It's gonna help a lot, and obviously you help us by hitting that like button as well. And then and that's, hey, I'm trying to get to that 5K, man. I'm around the corner, man. So I appreciate the support, y'all. Man, but like I said, we went overtime today. But hey, look, it was all love, man. We enjoy doing this. We love talking to y'all, talking to the nation, talking sports. We got into a little bit of basketball. We usually just keep it all Raiders all day, every day, in which we're gonna have plenty of shows coming up talking about that. But we kind of got into a little bit of basketball too, as well, man, just to have fun, talk about top fives and all that good stuff, man. So we like to do that sometimes, man. So we appreciate everybody coming through. On the way out, like I said, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, all that good stuff, man. Till next time, peace.
Just win, baby. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.